Alabama stories after this.
Where I was living was not a great place to live anymore. I began to pray for a place to go, praying for all of these things that a 9-year-old would want. I wanted horses, big house with a bunch of people my age. I wanted parents. I wanted a mom and a dad. Before I even prayed it, the Lord had already answered my prayer with the Big Oak Ranch. Who would that 9-year-old be if she never came to the Big Oak Ranch? I would be trying to fight for survival instead of fighting to break a cycle.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
An ATV accident in Macon County has claimed the life of a teenager. The 18-year-old from Union Springs was on the ATV when it left the road, hit an embankment, and then a tree. The teenager was ejected from that ATV and pronounced dead at the scene. The mayor of Pinson has passed away. Joe Cochran had battled Lou Gehrig's disease, also known as ALS, for many years. Cochran served on the city council from 2004 to 2016 and became the mayor of Pinson in 2020. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
I'm Wes Allen, Secretary of State. In Alabama, election integrity is a top priority. We must ensure fair, secure, and transparent elections. To vote in Alabama, state law requires voters to present a valid form of photo identification. For a complete list of acceptable identification, or to learn more about acquiring a free photo voter ID, visit alabamavotes.gov.
This message is presented by Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is the Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Yeah. I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. My trusty psychic, Eddie Bader, is here today. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Joe?
I'm all right. Is that a hockey jersey?
No, Joey, that's just an old motocross jersey.
Motocross? How long did you do that?
Well, I'm from Highland Garden, so it's pretty much your whole life when you're in Highland Garden.
No, seriously, you had to give it up eventually. It's probably not good for
my
your
40s.
Your 40s. Why did you give it up?
I bought a street bike and got a ticket going 140 miles an hour on the road 65, and after that, I put it all away.
Feel the need.
Not after that
the
day,
need for speed.
But yeah, man. And the people were passing me. People I were riding with. I was the sucker that pulled over.
Dude, like that is...
But no,
that's intense. And talk about running away from the darkness. I'm just going to go fast. You know what I mean?
You can do that on certain things. It is incredibly dangerous. I don't suggest anyone do it. I got a good little lecture from the state trooper. Cut me a break and suggested I sell my motorcycle, and I followed his advice.
Now, we have a lot of things to get to, but we have another Eddie story. I mean, I got to get to it off the bat. I mean, there's stuff going on in the news. Trump's up in the polls, at least for the New York Times poll, and especially in the South.
Yeah.
Had a good weekend. We got clips of him talking about mass deportation, what Elon Musk is going to do. We have Tim Walz saying, we don't need 4 more years of this. It's like, hey, Tim, the current VP is your running mate.
I heard that clip.
So keep saying stuff like that. We've got an online debate about would you try ayahuasca?
Yeah. I don't know.
A lot of folks are talking about how it can be mind-opening, but it could also ruin a life. Like people blow up their lives after they try something like that. Like get divorces and lose jobs.
Remember the LSD experiments back in the 60s, see?
Oh, yeah.
You know, for some people, it was a miracle. They quit drinking that day. And for others, I don't think it was so good.
Right. Such a thing as bad trips. Yep. And there's such a thing as a trip so good that everyday life ain't what it needs to be.
Yep, you start chasing the ghost.
So there's a lot we could get to. It really is a lot in the news. And by the way, why would the DOJ put out this Ryan Ruth's? It like literally.
You tell me, man.
Like, here, I will pay somebody $150,000 to finish the job. Fully unredacted. Let's just put it out there. Make it like not just a release, like a high-profile release. Whereas, like, what was your justification for raiding Mar-a-Lago? It's like, well, we tried to fully redact it.
Right.
Just interesting how that was released. People wondering about that online. But you recently found that you're going through a disease, right? And it's good to talk about these things publicly because, other people might be going through it. In fact, I had a family member going through what you...
Apparently, it's the trendy thing now, Joey. But yes, Joey, I have outbreak of shingles.
You have shingles?
Yes, I do.
Where?
On my back. It looks like a tramp stamp.
Would you like me to rub aloe vera on it?
No, but you can come by this afternoon if you'd like to put on the cocoa butter.
You're using cocoa butter?
Or coconut oil 3 times a day.
Coconut oil is what you're using?
Yep.
Just to keep it moist?
I really don't know. I'm taking somebody else's advice.
Like, honestly, having to help a family member with this, it gets really dried out and scaly. Is it painful?
It has its moments, but I didn't know the side. And I've had it for a week or so and didn't realize it.
Oh, wow. What a man.
It's just the side effects, nausea and all that. You know, 54-year-old man going on 55. It's just another day.
Right. So, and so when you found out, I guess you told like friends and family?
Yeah. You know, sure did, Joey.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and cut it out there, Joey. So I was talking to my mom who had recently had surgery.
And that went well.
Went very well.
Good.
And I told her I've got syphilis. When I tried to say shingles.
That's not the same thing at all.
No, and it took me a minute to find the word shingles. Oh, to hear your 80-something-year-old mother go, syphilis? How do you get syphilis?
How did you get syphilis? That's a silent killer.
And then when I tried to cover it up with shingles, I don't know if it took her a minute to believe it.
Well, I'm going to check out you every day for canker sores.
Yeah, Joey. So I had a kind of rough weekend, Joey. A lot of people, it was a good weekend.
See, the last time I saw you was Friday, and you told the poignant, harrowing story outside of Jackson Hospital. And then the next thing I know, I see him on Monday, and he's like, yeah, I accidentally told my mom I had syphilis. I don't, but I have shingles. I'm like, this is your life is a comedy, Eddie. Baker.
It's a dark comedy. And in fact, it's funny you say that because I told my partner, Hannah, I was like, I don't know the role you're playing in my dark comedy movie, but just know you're involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very dark comedy. Everybody else gets to laugh. And occasionally when you look back, it's funny.
No, that's just genuinely funny right there.
How do you get syphilis?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because it's not the same thing at all.
And well, then it takes, a second for it to sink in what I said. Then I'm trying to find the word.
Well, you remember all those years where I was motorbiking? Yeah. And shingles is like what, the chickenpox virus coming back, right?
Yeah. And a friend of mine, I told that story to about what I told my mom, and she just laughed. He goes, "No, baby, it's herpes. You don't have syphilis. You have herpes."
Oh my God.
That made it even better.
Oh,
but yeah, it's chickenpox virus. Apparently, it comes out at some age when you get a little stressed out. So apparently, I've been running a little stressful lately.
Well, we have some calls already rolling in early.
All right.
You can always join us at 334-272-9228. And Electrobama got in real early. How you doing today, sir?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Pretty good.
Not too hot.
Not yet.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'm on the wired earbuds. I don't know. They triggered me in the last show. We started to talk about vaccines, but I didn't hear what they were going to say about them. So.
No, and I kind of, if you got a thing with the last show, take it up with that show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear them finish their thought. I kind of tuned in at the end there. So I guess I'll get on that next time. Trying to find out where this was released by Ralph. I guess it was the prosecutors. That was stupid for them to make it, public like that.
Yeah.
It might have been, I'm trying to look and see if it was open source to begin with, somehow. And so they just said, screw it. We'll just, leave it in the open.
Well, and apparently it was
sure
in
how the rules go as far as when you file stuff,
Right, but apparently it was found in a box that this guy gave to somebody else.
Oh, really?
And the guy didn't open it until he saw the guy on TV after the assassination attempt, and it had this note in it that was essentially a bounty on Trump's head to finish the job.
Yeah. Wonder if he even had the money to back it up.
Probably not.
Probably
the
not.
guy seems
Probably not. Yeah,
nuts.
a little bit show. I got my notes here.
Oh, real quick while you're doing that, somebody just
Yeah.
messaged me, Eddie, and said you should look into Valtrex.
Okay, I did look into Valtrex, and let me tell you what
Yeah?
I've learned or whatever. It takes 2 weeks for it to start working, if it works at all.
Mhm.
And the same thing can be done with whatever I'm putting on there, and it's a lot cheaper, and you don't have to tell everybody you're taking the Valtrex.
For the herpes.
Yeah,
For the
herpes.
syphilis, I mean,
For the
excuse me. Oh, wait. Anyway.
By the way, you have it too. Chickenpox. It's a chickenpox.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm going to see if I can pull it out of you. See how stressed out I can get you.
Yeah, you're going to start singing John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Like
His name is my name too.
He has the shingles too. Right. I get it. Anyway, Electro-Bama, you have your notes?
Anyway, yeah, I can't riff on what you said because you haven't got started yet too much. Like I'm sure immigration will come up, and you had some interesting ideas on immigration. And, I just want to say, I like grooving with I knew I was a Republican when I started reading. I'm just a total nerd and dork.
Sure.
Started reading my encyclopedia when I was like 10 years old. My family just read it kicks. Just because I guess I got an encyclopedic memory instead of an episodic memory. And, I decided when I was watching the news, and I decided, hey, I'm Republican. But why I like hanging out with the progressives and the do-gooders is they have a plan, they have a policy, they want to put things through. You remember the Contract with America? We had a plan and a policy and what we wanted to do, right?
Yeah.
And that had an influence on what Bill Clinton could do there. So get back to the immigration thing. They let the senators write what they wanted as far as the immigration plan. And we got kibosh. So I'm not super interested in immigration. I'm kind of like, let's take people who want to work, and help them get in. Because there's this whole generation just, quiet quitting and stuff. And it's like maybe maybe we had more people, they could tell them how to do work, hard work, good work.
Well, in terms of plans, tomorrow at 2:00, we'll have Congressman Gary Palmer. And if you're looking for a guy with detailed plans,
He's the man.
That would be the guy to talk to from the Republican side. Whether we're talking healthcare or immigration or even foreign policy. He's the head of the policy committee, I believe, in the House. And he really is a impressive figure when you talk about just policy.
Okay. Because it'd be nice, we had plans other than, I give up, screw it, just give one guy the keys, make one person dictator, because we need somebody who's going to be strong and tough and take over and, blow up our system, which I frankly am in love with our system. We have the greatest system in the world, mostly. I don't want to blow stuff up, break things. I don't want to give somebody dictator. I would just want to get good stuff done, and I think we can do it when we all get together and, we work together on stuff.
We'll see, but the folks that need to get out of the way or play ball seem to have their heels dug in. And I'm talking about folks that are, say, entrenched, who have been the incumbents. I'm not elected officials, but incumbents within institutions. I'm saying they're bad people. I'm not going that far. I'm not saying they're incompetent, though sometimes the evidence suggests that. I'm saying they need to see that when we look at it system-wide, there's just a lot of failure. And then when you look at the trust in major institutions, it is in the toilet and not getting better. And so I think they need to come out of their ivory tower and actually engage. But, we're in an election cycle, so populism's how you get Hitler, I suppose, is what they're going to say.
Populism is what?
It's how you get Hitler. If they genuinely believe that. It's not just an exaggeration.
Well, there's, good populism, bad populism. And, right, it's kind of a nice edge. But.
Well, I appreciate the call, man. Really do.
Yeah.
Got to keep rolling here.
All right, thank you.
Again, Electro-Bama. We know his real name, but we'll stick with the handle. 272-9228 again if you want to get in on the conversation. Did you see anything in the news that really caught your eye when you're perusing it, say this morning or this
What happened
weekend?
in Birmingham over the weekend was a little bit of a...
Indeed.
Don't want to be like Birmingham.
So far, 4 dead, 17 shot and injured.
And they had another, I think, shooting yesterday. I think might be tied to the day before shooting. So, yeah.
And I believe Mayor Woodfin came out and said, we got to ban these Glock switches, and I don't care about, Second Amendment arguments. Hey, it's like, Mr. Mayor, Randall, why not just work with your legislators to ban the Glock switch without putting out a statement that purposely inflames the situation? People will, I think, be more than willing to work on something like that, including the so-called Second Amendment people. But if you're going to jump out in public after something like this and go, I don't give a damn about the Second Amendment arguments, it's like you're going to immediately demonize and lose people. Just very frustrating. I mean, the Glock switch is what? They essentially turn these 9mm into automatic, but it's not accurate. Like, it's just, you're spraying a crowd of people, even if you're aiming in a particular way.
Folks that are shooting, like in Birmingham, you can put whatever law you want to in front of them.
Oh, yeah, that too.
And they even openly said they think they were fully auto. They don't know if it's a Glock switch or not.
Right.
Could have been fully automatic weapons, which is more common than people think.
Sure.
Just because it's not legal doesn't mean people don't have them.
Right. Well, and when you look at the success of, say, this Montgomery Area Crime Suppression Unit, the MAX, they're hailing numbers. It's out in the local news today. It works. You don't need ID stops, permits, or more bans from the legislature necessarily. Again, I think legislators on the Republican side who control our legislature are willing to talk about a lot of things that restrict criminals getting their hands on firearms.
But you do need that, what you're talking about, if you have a different agenda.
But if you are, say, putting officers on the streets, you're making them have a particular mission, you're working together, state, county, city, everybody working together, they've removed hundreds of weapons off the street.
Yeah.
The voluntary gun buyback, I think they spent the $8,000 that Crime Stoppers had ready to go within 2.5 hours and destroyed 100 weapons on site that day. They're going to plan to do another one. Like, there are ways to do this smart that doesn't violate people's rights and doesn't even have to be all that political. Because at the end of the day, I couldn't even believe myself agreeing with an AL.com piece that, yeah, the people who are responsible for this are the people who did the shooting.
Thank you.
Obviously, crime is a moral failing of individual will.
Yep.
And you can contextualize it, bad home, not enough fun, not enough program. Yeah, you can keep contextualizing until you get shot in the face yourself. Some people are just no daggum good.
Right, but the hoops that they're making legal people like myself go through doesn't curb the crime.
Right. Like, things people have talked about is, say, like clawback, like if it's a juvenile, the guardian has some culpability.
Yes, 100%.
Or maybe if you commit a violent felony in the state, you don't get your firearms back. Now, that's one that has to be massaged by the lawyers.
Yeah,
but I think there's actually appetite for something like that. That if you commit a violent crime, especially with a firearm, you're not getting your gun back. Right, right. See, this is what I mean. But the lawyers, you got to.
Ain't no lawyer.
Yeah, me either. I mean, look at us.
Well, we'd be good-looking lawyers. We could have our own TV show.
Yeah, we'd be Matlock. And I'm not talking about Andy Griffith. I'm talking about the new one with Kathy Bates.
No, because you're going to make me play Kathy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And I'll be James Caan. You break my legs, you don't let me leave. Okay. So that's what caught your attention, this here locally.
Yeah, it's just affected so many people. And I think there's still people coming out talking about what they saw.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a game this weekend. Imagine if there was an Alabama game this weekend, how many more people would probably been down there.
Oh, and this was at 5 points. I've been down there before.
Yeah, me too. That's where I had my cheeseburger with the donut.
And it's a beautiful area.
Yeah.
Birmingham, in many respects. I went up there about a month ago to go see a movie with a friend, and Birmingham is and can be much more a beautiful city. Now, I was talking bad about it And as I'm walking around downtown Birmingham, I say to my friend, like, I was bad-mouthing this on the air the other day. I think I was wrong. And then I look down, and there's somebody with their pants half down, passed out, clearly from some drug, right there on the sidewalk.
Well,
it's like, well, and then if you turn one corner, that nice part turns into just dilapidated pretty quick.
Well, you gave me.
So there's a lot of work to be done.
You gave me and Craig the walking tour of Birmingham when we went and ate the steak place. So yeah,
Isn't there a nice area?
there was. But then there were some where you're like, hey,
yeah, let's move.
Right.
Let's move.
Right.
I don't care if your shingles or whatever is acting up. Let's move. So what a mess.
Yeah.
What an absolute mess. 272-9228. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
What's up? Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
I went to, by the way, thank you for the caller that called in and told me where the where the Republican Party headquarters were over at Sturbridge, or Pepper Tree, and they got no damn sign. No sign. No, almost no promotional anything. It's a big office, a big retail space with nobody in it and nothing in it.
Did you at least have a person you could talk to?
Yeah, I had 2 people. And one was an elderly lady, had red hair, so we know she's cool.
Yep.
Thank you, Eddie. And Eddie, damn sorry about shingles. That is, I have a friend, last year he turned 75. He got the shingles and it kicked his butt. He said it was terrible.
That's what everybody keeps telling me.
awful.
It's kind of an inconvenience right now, so I'm hoping I don't get too deep into it.
Yeah,
That's the secret. Eddie's always in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's, it has to run its course, and once you got it, you got it, and there's not a damn thing you can do pretty much except for topical.
Right.
And I ain't about to take no damn shingles vaccine.
Nope.
Why give yourself the damn shingles?
Nope.
Right.
And now it's up to Joey, if I was listening to my doctors and all these people, I would have taken 11 shots by now. Not 9, 11. I miscounted.
No.
And Eddie,
stay shot free, man.
Eddie, you know this since you rode your motorcycle around Highland Gardens, tried to kill yourself. The most unbelievable moonrise is Fairground Road.
Oh, yeah.
Right there at the end of Rigby Street.
Prettiest one in Montgomery.
It is stunning, Joey. It was so Saturday night or Friday night, it was the most orange moon I've ever seen in Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
It was just damn gorgeous. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so, okay, that's beside the point, but I'm sorry you got that. And kind of young, but you never know. Did you have chicken pox when you were young?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did, but it wasn't that severe, which makes me worried about down the road.
You know, in my generation, when you found out somebody, or your parents found out somebody had chicken pox, they loaded everybody in the car and you went over there and hung out so you could all get chicken pox.
Yeah. We enjoyed our childhood diseases, and we gave them all to our parents too. That's why when I have customers with you have their small children, I said, "Are you looking forward to getting all your childhood diseases again? Because you're going to."
Pretty true.
And this gun stuff, just putting a accelerator on your gun, it's all pure hell, and it's just so evil, man. I don't know. I don't do guns, Joey, and I got a real good reason that you don't want to hear.
Sure.
But and also, I'm a musician, and musicians and artists don't go around killing people and animals other than Ted Nugent.
Charles Manson?
Trump. He wasn't a musician, was he?
Yeah,
he was.
Kind of why he was so mad they wouldn't produce his music. They wouldn't put it out there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Well, golly. I feel his pain. Some people have a hard time listening to music, too. So, roll tide, no Trump. See you guys.
See you, brother.
Yeah, and a big game coming up. Not only is Georgia going to be in Tuscaloosa, you're also going to have President Donald J. Trump there.
Yep.
So I wonder if that's going to be a packed box.
You think so?
Obviously, Senator Britt will be there. I think Tuberville's going to be there as well. Gary Palmer, I'll ask him. My guess is he'll be in the area.
So, yeah.
And some folks are already making stickers where it's Trump with his hand in the air.
I love that.
And it's an Alabama Crimson Tide logo. Obviously not an official thing. The school has done.
Right.
And it's just underneath it says, they're eating the dogs. But dogs spelled the way, Georgia spells
Make
it.
sure we send that to Eric. The dog.
Mm-hmm. They're eating the dogs. Did you see that, Katie? They're eating them.
Yep.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Charles first. Hey, Eddie.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Joey.
Hey.
Hope y'all doing good today.
Pretty good, man.
I was calling about what you were talking about the adversarial way that it's being treated as far as the gun issue.
Yep.
And it came to my mind, and correct me if I'm wrong, the chief of staff of Mayor Reed had said that one of the area state senators was supposed to help with the gun thing and didn't. And that was kind of an adversarial thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it seemed to me, and correct me again if I'm wrong, but Mayor Reed desiring for this to go through the courts as far as the ordinance to change things, that seems adversarial.
Yep.
And Woodfin's speech was extremely adversarial. No one is trying to come across the aisle at all. As a matter of fact, they're trying to say we are the big dog here. Am I not correct, guys?
No, that seems to be the case, and it certainly gets headlines and people talking about it. If that's the effect they want, they're getting it. But I think there are very reasonable people there in the legislature on particular issues, and when you actually get to know people, talk out the issues, you might be surprised at what you can get done. But instead, we get what we get.
Right, and maybe just calling it to their attention by a review of the times and ways that they've done it, and that they've never put a hand forward to say, work with us, guys, instead of being adversarial, could help the situation.
Yeah, and we'll see, because something's got to give. Like, maybe the state needs help step in with Birmingham, too.
Maybe.
It seems to have worked here in Montgomery.
Yeah, that was a very good action that the Attorney General took in the situation. But thanks for letting me on to kind of air that, and y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Charles.
This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting, and there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and his team are ready to help you with that roof.
That's right, Joey.
You've worked with them on both types of roofs, right?
Several times, man. Several times. They've replaced my roof on one of my rental houses. They've replaced several of my clients' roofs. But one of the best things they did for me, give me a free inspection.
Ooh. And it wasn't just you. They do that.
They'll do that for
it's
anybody.
Always the way that is.
But I'll be very honest. When I heard they did that, I called them up real quick. Man, they got up on my steep roof, which I won't do
It is
anymore.
steep. Your home it's metal roof, right?
Yeah, and it's a 12 on 12. So it's very steep, and I wasn't about to get up there. But they were very honest with me. They said, hey, obviously you can't see some of the damage you might have up here. So they showed me, hey, it's time for you to replace these screws. These O-rings in them are getting rotten out. They showed me examples of them. I think in 2 days at the most, they were done.
Wow.
Every screw on my roof replaced.
And they didn't leave any behind on the ground?
No screws behind, no mess behind. The guys were great. They weren't all Auburn fans, but for the most part, they were great. They did a very professional job. They could have been better at Auburn fans. But anyway, I recommend them to anybody and everybody. In fact, even my clients, when they call me with an insurance issue, who do I tell them to call? River Region Contracting.
By the way, given the way Auburn's doing this year, I can see why they might not be. Yes, that number for River Region Contracting, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. Free inspections, free estimates. They're also insurance specialists, can walk you through that claims process, make it swift and easy. So check them out today, and be sure to tell Todd Clark and the team when you call 356-8635 that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Let's hit a break. All right, we'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper, and you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first time Nana moment
to Flight 101
to annual girls trip moments. Your can't miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
You probably already know that we're going to be watching the Gulf of Mexico very carefully this week. There will be a potentially landfalling system on the northern Gulf Coast somewhere by the end of the week. But for today, still sunny and hot. I've got us in the mid-90s for a high, partly cloudy, 72 tonight. Tomorrow, still dry, lots of sun, high 93 for Tuesday. Risk of scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms returning to the forecast by Wednesday with a high near 90. And after Wednesday, everything depends on developments in the Gulf of Mexico. We're watching carefully. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Have you heard the news? Capital Tractor will soon be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. With lots of Kubota inventory, we're going to sell it instead of move it. Our big moving sale is a great time to get a great deal on a Kubota at Capital Tractor in Montgomery.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Or as they're calling this thing online, Joey Clark Live. Can always like and subscribe there. Joey Clark Live on YouTube or at the THE, at the Joey Clark.
All right.
On X. And so, there's some stuff we didn't get to last week.
Okay.
One is a former chief Border Patrol agent, Aaron Heitke.
Aaron.
Aaron.
Okay.
He was ordered by the Biden-Harris administration to cover up the disaster at the border. Oh. And he detailed that in testimony before the Congress last week. Let's listen in on what he was, ordered to cover up.
All right.
The disaster, so to speak.
Diego, we had an exponential increase in significant interest aliens.
These are aliens with significant ties to terrorism. Prior to this administration, the San Diego sector averaged 10 to 15 SIA arrests per year. Once word was out the border was far easier to cross, San Diego went to over 100 SIAs in 2022, well over that in 2023, and even more than that registered this year. These are only the ones we caught. At the time, I was told I could not release any information on this increase in SIAs or mention any of the arrests. The administration was trying to convince the public there was no threat at the border. Fentanyl is another issue. The San Diego area sees between 80 and 90% of the methamphetamine and fentanyl seizures annually for our entire country. With little enforcement at the border, these drugs were coming through en masse. During my last year in San Diego, the price for a single pill of fentanyl, for example, went from $10 to 25 cents. To make matters worse, during 2022 and 23, I had to shut down San Diego traffic checkpoints, which are critical for drug interdiction, because the resources had been diverted to the process and release mission. Wow. The large numbers also had and still have a negative impact on the San Diego community. I had to release illegal aliens by the hundreds each day into communities who could not support them. To quiet the problem, 2 flights a week were provided from San Diego to Texas. These flights simply brought aliens that would have been released in San Diego over to Texas. Each flight cost approximately $150,000. This was the administration's way to try and quiet the border-wide crisis.
Wow. So data hidden on terror encounters.
Yeah. No surprise.
$150,000 flights to fly illegals into Texas and zero resources to track fentanyl.
It doesn't surprise me, and it kind of explains to me why your Democrats are fighting so hard to keep power. Because I think there's going to be a little bit of look-at-loo going on when administrations change, and I'm thinking this time there will be some people held accountable.
So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
But now I was born in a middle-class family, and we're going to do the thing on the border, and I will sign that law that Donald Trump killed. And no, you're going to do what your puppet masters tell you to do, Kamala.
100%.
You're going to do what the machine tells you to do. You're just the new face of this, nightmare, this American nightmare. Yep. I'm not talking about Cody Rhodes. What a mess. And then when you look at, how this affects the process, when you let this amount of people in, this is from Just the News. Non-citizens added to states' voter rolls through DMV, even after admitting lack of U.S. citizenship.
Yeah, dude, the fix is in. None of this should surprise anybody anymore.
Non-citizens have been added to several states' voter rolls, largely through motor vehicle departments, sometimes even after they have explained that they are not U.S. citizens. States have been discovering non-citizens on their voter rolls over the years, with many being added through the motor voter process at motor vehicle departments that began with the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. If non-citizens are seeking to become naturalized citizens, then being illegally registered to vote can prevent that from occurring. An election integrity group has examined states' voter rolls for years, finding many non-citizens who are illegally registered to vote across the country. Let's look at, for instance, Pennsylvania. J. Christian Adams, president of the Public Interest Legal Foundation, said on Just the News special report to be aired Tuesday that non-citizens have been registered to vote in Pennsylvania for decades. Quote, Pennsylvania had been registering non-citizens by admission. This wasn't some conspiracy on the internet. And they admitted they had been registering non-citizens for 20 years at Penn DOT. And it was a glitch, they called it. So we used the National Voter Registration Act to go in to try to get the records of how bad the problem was, the records of how they fixed the problem or allegedly fixed it, and they've been stonewalling us for about 7 years. He went on to explain that his organization had oral arguments earlier this month before the Third Circuit Federal Court of Appeals in Philly, defending our win. Hopefully, eventually, Pennsylvania coughs up the records. In 2017, Pennsylvania Secretary of State Al Schmidt, a Republican who was a Philadelphia city commissioner at the time, told a Pennsylvania Senate committee that there were over 100,000 matches of voter registration records to state driver's license numbers with Immigration and Naturalization Service indicators. The matches don't mean that all of those people were registered to vote, But Schmidt argued, quote, "We're not talking about an insignificant number here. We're talking about a potentially very significant number of thousands and tens of thousands." The Pennsylvania Department of State announced in September 2017 that records indicated 1,160 non-citizens since 1972 had requested their voter registrations be canceled.
Yeah, I heard a story about that this weekend where immigrants were reaching out, asking to be taken off.
Now, there's this whole thing about California, but who cares? That's about to tumble into the sea. Arizona.
Can we help them with that?
On Tuesday, Arizona Secretary of State Adrian Fontes said that nearly 100,000 voters were incorrectly registered in the state as it's providing proof of U.S. citizenship, even though they had not done so. Secretary of State there in Arizona explained that there was an error in state systems that labeled the roughly 97,000 voters as providing documented proof of U.S. citizenship. The Motor Vehicle Division provides the state's voter registration system with driver license information, and the error occurred in that process. Affected voters had first obtained Arizona's driver licenses before October 1996 and were issued duplicate replacements before registering to vote after 2004. The error had occurred or has occurred for about 20 years and over 4 administrations, he noted, and was discovered by a Maricopa County worker who found a registered voter who hadn't provided proof of U.S. citizenship but was listed as having done so, and who had cast ballots in both federal and state elections.
Those are the first ones we throw out.
The voter had a green card but never cast a ballot. It's just nuts.
Well, here's the thing.
Like,
though.
this isn't jam up and jelly tight by any means.
And someone calling them out. Would you say 7 years?
Yeah.
That they've been asking for
In
some relief?
Pennsylvania, yeah.
So it is what it is. There's no coincidences. There's no arrows. There's no errors. There's no glitches. It needs to be called what it is.
Right. Cheating.
Yes. You got to beat the cheat. But now when they say, okay, well, how are we going to determine if Trump gets elected and he's going to kick all these illegals out? How do we determine who goes, who stays? The first one who goes, you just go down the voter roll. That's the easiest way. That's the easiest way. Guarantee if Trump gets elected, these voter rolls will disappear.
And we're seeing all this as, again, the new New York Times poll has Trump up 5 in Arizona, up 4 in Georgia, and 2 in North Carolina. It's been a big shift back to Trump in the last 30 days, just in the New York Times poll.
Especially in North Carolina. That's when I thought he would lose. It wouldn't even really be close of a race.
Now, apparently he's not doing as well in the Midwest, or like, Michigan, Wisconsin.
Okay. I saw a thing yesterday. I think it was a Muslim governor, or it could have been a Muslim mayor, probably a mayor. He has come out in support of Trump. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
I'll find the story when we go to break. Sure
That's
enough.
fascinating.
Yes. I sure was going to read the article going in another way. Because the IRS union, they'd come out in support of Kamala.
Now, talking about all this voting, would you believe that 2020 recorded the highest voter turnout of the 21st century? That's kind of nice when you don't even have to show up.
No.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Not accurate, no.
But, don't you dare say anything was untoward there. Give me a break. This part of the program brought to you by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. Dadgum, are they good.
They are delicious.
Great for lunch, great for dinner. They've got the original barbecue recipes back there at Smokehouse. They've gone through a different ownership over the 20-plus years.
Oh, yeah.
30-plus years they've been around. But now they're back to the original recipes. The pit master has been working there for years now, really knows what he's doing, and that barbecue is just to die for, especially if you just want to go get a pulled pork sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some camp stew. It's going to be camp stew weather soon.
Ooh, very soon, Joey.
Or maybe you need to stop by there for breakfast. You're like, wait, barbecue and breakfast? Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
It is the best breakfast in town. And of course, they're right there on Main Street in Millbrook. Even if you're saying East Montgomery, you can drive down the interstate real quick, be right there at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue. And dadgum, the breakfast is what it's got me still excited. Those cheese grits are to die for.
100%.
Like, that's one of the best things I've eaten in a long, long time.
Yep.
I don't know how much butter and cream and whatever they're putting in there.
I just
how
know
much
they're
cheese they're
delicious.
putting in there. But those cheese grits are quite amazing and thick in a good way. But of course, you can get like a fresh made biscuit customized with whatever breakfast meat, egg, or cheese that you desire, or custom made sandwiches for breakfast. Of course, they can also do a big old fat boy breakfast with a pancake as big as your face.
I'm ready when you are, Joey. Take a challenge.
We might have to do that this week.
All right, I'm ready.
So y'all stop by Smokehouse Pit Barbecue today, and be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Everyone confesses sooner or later.
Tuesday, Fox presents a new mystery series.
They found the body.
In this small town,
Are your murders? Unsolved.
every week brings a new case for Carl Allberg.
I can always tell when somebody's lying to me.
Based on the acclaimed book series.
I just thought there might be something you'd like to tell me.
Well, you thought wrong, Sonny. It's the premiere of Murder in a Small Town.
Tuesday on Fox 20.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the River region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Always be closing. Always be closing.
Stop playing with it.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Welcome back, I said. To news and views in the afternoon. I'm Joey, that's Eddie. Wearing your motocross
Because I had to. All right, here's the whole thing. I had to put that coconut juice on there,
your shingles.
and it'll ruin any shirt I got. So
That's
I just
true,
wear
and so
some
that
older stuff,
How will coconut oil ruin a shirt?
Just stain it, and then you're not going to.
Oh, never come out?
I don't think so. I don't want to risk it.
Explains a lot.
Yeah, I don't want to risk it. So this thing's old and haggard. I think it's probably 20 years old. Literally found it in the back of the closet.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of proud of it.
You know, I was listening years ago. I was driving around listening to the station, and it was the Herb Shop show. Carl, and great folks.
Oh, great folks at Herb
store.
Shop.
And he had a lady on talking about all the uses of coconut oil. You can cook with it. You can treat dry skin.
Yes.
You can, and in my head, I'm like, well, she's leaving something out.
There's a lot of things, Joey. I had some in coffee yesterday.
Oh, really?
They use it in my coffee because they didn't have sugar, so they put butter
Mm-hmm.
and coconut oil in there. Amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All kinds of uses. All kinds of uses.
This is part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services and their
I got a
Pest
story.
Pro. Yeah.
Pest Pro. Get a call Friday afternoon from my tenants on the Airbnb.
Okay.
Eddie, we got some ants.
Ants.
And as an Airbnb guy, you're like, oh crap.
Did
oh,
you
crap,
ask
oh,
like
crap.
sugar ants, fire?
I didn't ask. I was like, I'll get this taken care of quickly. So I called up Pest Pro. Like, hey, I know it's Friday afternoon. And this was late Friday afternoon. It's like, but this is what I got. I'm so worried about my Airbnb rating. So worried about my guests.
Sure.
They said, give me 5 minutes. I got a call back in 5 minutes. Had somebody going over there.
Wow. Took care of it immediately.
Took care of it immediately. My guests think I'm king of the world. Think I'm just the savior. Little do they know Ashley saved my butt. And I'm so appreciative to that.
They're just that good there at Pest
They
Pro.
are.
So it could be you have an emergency job like that.
And maybe it was just coincidence they were able to do it. But man, they did it for me, baby.
Or it could be you want to make them your everyday pest control company. A lot of folks have gone with Pest Pro, and they love it.
That's what you want.
It's great to see the company grow over the last few years. Not only are they just like quick, efficient, true skilled professionals there at Pest Pro, they're also your neighbors, great local folks. So when you spend money with them, it's going back into the local economy.
No doubt.
And I just love what they do for the community, in particular, Ashley, over there at Pest Pro. So check them out today. You can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro.
That's right.
Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. Let's go to David. Hey, David.
What's up, Dave?
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Good, man. I don't know the validity of this, but I got a call about 20 minutes ago from my daughter who lives in Fairhope, and she says there are rumors swirling all around Fairhope that the federal government is looking to dump a bunch of illegals there now.
Oh, boy. Huh.
Just so, and what power does even if people don't want it?
What power does anybody have?
Yeah.
What do you do about it?
And you know the thing is, once they're dumped in your community, basically they're protected. There's virtually nothing you can do to get them out of there. I mean, you're basically stuck with them. If you do anything to ship them elsewhere, you know the federal government's going to step in and file a lawsuit against you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And basically fight you in court and basically drain you financially.
Hadn't Stephen Reed taught us that there are sometimes those things are worth fighting for?
Yeah, you ask
You believe in
forgiveness,
it?
not
That's
permission.
right. You believe in it?
Actually,
Put your money
I
where your
think he
mouth is.
set a good example there.
Yeah.
We need more of that from the states. We need more of that from the cities.
Can't do nothing about it, so I'll just take you to court.
All right.
That's what we got to do.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, what else
that's
can we do?
That's the Democrat way, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you don't get what you want, take them to court.
I'll sue you.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it worked for Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Act, so that's basically been their playbook since the mid-'60s, is use the federal courts to get what they want, regardless of whether it's right or not.
Well, it's regardless of whether people want it or not either. Look at this District 2 race. we had.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, and the situation with the DMV, which of course we know on the West Coast that as soon as you sign up for a driver's license, you're getting put on the voter roll. That's automatic, the motor voter law. But you take 100,000 people in a place like Arizona and put them on the voter roll and use those to stuff ballot boxes with, even though the people may not even know that their name is being stuffed in the ballot box for a Democrat, that's enough to change the election.
Yep.
In a state like Arizona,
Sure
period.
is.
Yeah, it is.
So, which is exactly what they want. So, anyway, have a good one.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it, David. Let's go to James.
Hey, James.
Okay, fellas. Let's remember that Jesus Christ is the only Savior. We will allow for a lowercase s there, though, Eddie. Okay?
Okay.
You guys doing okay today?
Oh, my back's bothering me.
So far, we'll see.
Can we talk shingles?
Sure.
Sure, why not?
When I was working as the high school science teacher at Ottawa High School, some 15 years ago plus,
Mm-hmm.
I had enough stress. I mean, I know that's hard to imagine, high school science teacher having any stress. But shingles popped out across my chest.
Mm.
And I was having trouble breathing.
Mm.
Not necessarily exchanging gases, CO2 for oxygen, but the actual physical movement of muscles and ribs was painful.
Yes.
So I go into the assistant principal's office, and I'm explaining to her my situation, and she was very empathetic. She said, "Oh, Mr. Brown, you get you a doctor's appointment, and we'll cover you tomorrow, and see you in a day or two." And then she started telling me, when I had mine a few months or years ago, it was in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was tough, I'm sure.
Wait, your name's James Brown? Were people making jokes like Papa's got a brand new bag or something?
Oh, did I put that in there? My bad. I didn't mean to. Next thing you know, I'll be telling you where I got books on sale and things like that.
What's your Social Security number?
What's that PayPal account you got there?
Well, it's like this, Joey and Eddie. On occasion, I'm somewhere, and somebody will say, "Was that you I heard on the radio the other day?" And I'm kind of like looking around, like who else is listening? And I'm like, yeah, I guess it was me the other day. And so this happens periodically at various locations, including the front foyer at church. I listened to that, and I heard you on such and such, and I'm like, okay. And this one guy that listens to your program, we won't call his name, but he's a banker. And so, you got bankers listening to you?
Well, yeah, because, Eddie, who listens?
Everybody listens.
Everybody listens. And, Joey, I'm on a mission on the tennis court this weekend, man, because I got other things to do. So, do you play tennis? Do you play tennis, Joey?
No, I've never been a tennis guy.
Do you snow ski?
I've never been snow skiing.
Love to take you.
I'm just looking for something for you to take me and Eddie on a long trip, man. I mean, because young man like you making all that money, we don't want you to get
all that.
Let me go ahead and tell you, Joey's got T-Rex arms.
We don't want to get him messed up, do we, Eddie?
Yeah.
The last time we went, I paid for it. You dope. And now you're still saying
I'm trying
I got
to get
T-Rex.
you out of taking me and James out for a weekend where you're going to lose all your money. But never mind, Joey's loaded.
And we don't want you to
No, I am not.
Let's go to Atlanta. They got some
stress
clubs.
of it, Joey. Money is the root of all kinds, the love of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Is the root of all kinds of evil.
I agree.
Although, if you're reading in Proverbs, and I paraphrase here, money is an answer for quite a few problems.
Sure.
If used wisely. Of course, you also know what it says about a fool and his money being soon departed.
Yep.
I could explain why I'm broke, Joey.
All the time I'm broke.
You guys have a nice day. It's always my pleasure, where it appears to be or not.
Appreciate
Thank you, James.
You hear that, Eddie?
Yeah, I hear your money bags.
World's smallest violin.
I hear your money bags. Hey, big man, let me hold
Money
the dollar.
bags? Seriously? You're going to do this? Why are you projecting? You're like Scrooge McDuck up there on Lake Jordan, all right? Swimming around in your piles of gold.
They're copper pennies, Joey. They're copper pennies.
Well, that might explain the shame. Are you sure it's shingles?
It might just be some...
Just copper poison.
Right.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Pentagon says the U.S. is sending additional troops to the Middle East during a sharp spike in violence between Israel and Hezbollah forces in Lebanon that is raising the risk of a greater regional war. And as Israel is preparing to conduct further operations, the State Department is warning Americans to leave Lebanon. The Missouri Supreme Court will hear arguments as attorneys working on behalf of Marcellus Williams seek to save him, just a day before his scheduled execution. Williams, set to die Tuesday evening for the 1998 stabbing death of Lisha Gale. Williams has long maintained his innocence in the crime. On Wall Street, the Dow had 35 points, and the NASDAQ Composite is up 3. This is SRN News.
We've been witnessing troubling signs that we're on the cusp of a major economic bust. High inflation, growing national debt, and global uncertainties are all flashing warning signals. Are you prepared for what's coming next? I'm Lance Wallnow, a Christian news analyst. And the Bible tells us that the wise man sees danger coming and takes precautions. By diversifying into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group, you can protect your God-given assets through both stable and turbulent times. Gold has been a trusted store of value for thousands of years, weathering economic storms that have wiped out other forms of wealth. Here's the best part. With the help of Birch Gold, you can convert your 401k or IRA to a gold IRA, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for a free info kit on gold. Take the next step to secure your financial future before these warning signs turn into a full-blown crisis. Text FAITH to the number 989898 now for your free gold IRA info kit. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation. So text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, serving the river region with the best quality building materials for decades. Contractor to do-it-yourselfer. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather. You probably already know that we're going to be watching the Gulf of Mexico very carefully this week. There will be a potentially landfalling system on the northern Gulf Coast somewhere by the end of the week. But for today, still sunny and hot. I've got us in the mid-90s for a high, partly cloudy, 72 tonight. Tomorrow, still dry, lots of sun, high 93 for Tuesday. Risk of scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms returning to the forecast by Wednesday with a high near 90. And after Wednesday, everything depends on developments in the Gulf of Mexico. We're watching carefully. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The pedestrian killed in a Friday morning traffic accident has been identified. 43-year-old Johnstone Namali Kuboka was struck by a pickup truck around 5:15 a.m. on I-85 North near the Eastern Boulevard off-ramp. Kuboka was pronounced dead on the scene. The cause of the accident remains under investigation. A Montgomery woman took a trip to California and came back home a big winner. Kimberly Leach recently appeared on the television game show Wheel of Fortune. The Montgomery resident went on to the bonus round and ultimately walked away with over $63,000 in a trip to South America. Congratulations, Kimberly Leach. Central Alabama Crime Stoppers announced their Saturday gun buyback event was a tremendous success. All $8,000 of the cash Crime Stoppers brought for the event was paid out in just 2.5 hours, bringing in a total of 106 firearms that were destroyed on site. Crime Stoppers is planning more Montgomery gun buybacks in the near future. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Hey, this is Randy with Super Phone Center on Burbank Drive. When we advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, we get results. Send your money where it counts. Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
It's the 71st Alabama National Fair, October 4th through the 14th. You'll see great shows like the Zerbini Circus, sponsored by Coca-Cola, the Fearless Florist Thrill Show, presented by Don Duck and All-American Tire and Auto, the Exciting Tiger Encounter, sponsored by Haynes Vinyl Graphics. This year's fair goes for 11 days, and both Mondays will be school day. And Inside concerts are returning to the fair. See Drew Hill, presented by HMMA, on the Coliseum stage Saturday the 5th. Girl, no. Don't miss the sensational Dylan Scott in concert, presented by Haynes Ambulance, Thursday the 10th. Both begin at 7 p.m. and are free with your fair admission. Imagine, for one low price, you can see shows, a circus, and a great concert. Tickets are $20 and includes parking. But check our website for special discount days. It's the Alabama National Fair, October 4th through the 14th. 17 and under must be accompanied by a parent or guardian. Garrett Coliseum Clear Bag policy in effect. Sponsored by the Kiwanis Club of Montgomery, Hyundai Motor Manufacturing Alabama, and Coca-Cola.
It's the best 11 days of fall.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers.
It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Is cocaine a stronger up?
Yeah.
So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying?
You conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Oh, welcome back to the program. 334-272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Oh, look, Fox News is now covering the shootings there in Birmingham.
I think they picked it up Sunday.
Alabama police search for multiple shooting suspects.
I think we even got a comment from the current president.
From Biden?
Yep. I think they woke him up with it yesterday. Well, he's going to come out anti-gun. Anytime there's a shooting, we got to get a quote.
Birmingham police believe a shooting left 4 people dead and at least 18 others injured now. Saturday night was targeted. Multiple shooters opened fire in 5 Points South, an outdoor public area surrounded by restaurants and bars. And that is a shooting gallery, too, if you do an ambush like this.
Yes.
Police found 2 men and a woman dead on the sidewalk, and another victim was pronounced dead at the hospital. Officer Truman Fitzgerald said many of the victims may have been caught in crossfire. Some of them being treated have life-threatening injuries. Investigators are trying to determine if Glock switches or similar devices were attached to the firearms used in the shooting. No one was immediately arrested, but police ask anyone with information to come forward. There's now a reward money being offered for more information.
The whole Glock switches thing, I don't care. I would rather you be finding out who did it, not if they used Glock switches. I could give 2 craps about that.
Yeah.
If you're putting that out there for pure political reasoning.
And now Fox has moved on to 30-plus people shot in violent Chicago weekend as
I think
well.
33 this weekend in Chicago. 33.
Yeah. Now, maybe you need to create another one of these crime suppression units. Get the county there. Get the state. But at a certain point, you're running out of people.
You are, but in a place like 5 Points, you would want some police protection, but you wouldn't want it to be just overwhelming.
Right.
I hate saying it, but it takes a lot of the fun out. But obviously, what's the answer? You got cameras down there left and right.
The Chicago mayor ends gunfire detection system. Yeah.
Probably because it ran out of subscription. It couldn't handle the...
we got gunfire everywhere,
Right.
is what the
just
system's
melted
telling
down.
us. Goodness gracious. What a mess, man.
Yeah.
An absolute mess. Hey, you want to do something a little more lighthearted?
I'm down.
This is from the desk of Erica Thomas there at 1819news.com.
Hey, we talk to her every week.
Yeah, we'll talk to her on Thursday.
Awesome.
Pickleball injuries on the rise as paddle sport grows in popularity.
What age group is that growing with, Joey?
I'm going to go with old people. It's not
Just
old.
say it my age, Joey. My
Or
age?
not just old, the olds.
The olds.
The olds. With the popularity of pickleball growing across the nation, injuries from pickleball are also on the rise.
What type of injuries?
There are an estimated 8.9 million pickleball players in the United States. In Alabama, pickleball is popular among all age groups, although those over 55 make up the largest demographic of pickleball players. Yes, you go from motocross to pickleball.
I guess I'll go pick me up a
Now,
racket,
I can just
Joey.
see you with that tiny little paddle and some knee-high tube socks and so Larry Bird shorts, and you're just out there smashing.
You know me. The first game would be fun, but then I'd sit down and drink a beer, and I'm like, yeah, y'all got it.
What if you're trying to make a business deal and somebody goes, well, come play me in pickleball. We'll talk about what we're...
I'll tell you what I'll do. Same thing I did when somebody challenged me to golf one time.
Yeah.
I brought in my nephew, who's a semi-professional golfer. I walked in with a limp and said, hey, I had to bring in somebody. Walked out with a couple $100 in my pocket.
Right. Now, hundreds of players show up each year to the Alabama Open tournament in the city of Clay.
Wow, good for them.
The paddle sport is not typically considered dangerous, but according to the University of Alabama at Birmingham, pickleball injuries have increased 90-fold since 2020. Most injuries are not life-threatening and tend to be in individuals over the age of 60 years of age. Who could have guessed it? However, a Jacksonville State University student was injured in August and had to get stitches in her head following a collision with the other player's paddle. What, you got it in the face? Mash! Man, they must have been going hard. The student recovered, but the incident highlights that injuries can occur in any age group. Typically, injuries do not require stitches.
Maybe they should do some stretching beforehand.
The most common injuries, to your point, are muscle strains and ligament sprains.
Dude, we're old.
Said Thomas Evely, DO and orthopedist at UAB Sports and Exercise Medicine. Pickleball requires quick movement and balance that can lead to acute injuries from fall to overuse type injuries.
It just seems like something they could play on the Wii at home.
Common pickleball related injuries include ankle strains, knee pain, hamstring injuries, and elbow pain.
How do you pull a hammy?
So here's some of what the doctor, Evely, recommends. Stretch, hamstring stretch, quadricep stretch, calf stretch, shoulder stretch, hip flexor stretch. So like the stuff I do every morning.
Yeah.
And I'm 35.
So you would probably be great at pickleball.
No, I'm not playing pickleball.
Are you sure?
I have no interest.
Joe, you could dominate the courts.
I have no interest
Look
in
at
it.
all them older women that might perhaps
Yeah, I'm not
be looking for
I am
someone
not.
that needs to, looking for a house.
I am not
Well,
interested.
just saying. Keep it out there.
Pickleball, really?
If that's your move, that's your move,
It's
man.
not my move.
All right, just keep it out.
I have no moves.
This one might be
Other
your
than,
move.
hey, I can cook steak.
Women like that, but more men like that, Joey.
Well, just talk to the women I know. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
That's Randy. How you gentlemen doing today?
Doing good, Randy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. Joey, you souping on my summer of Pat Tire with my tube socks and my pants. And wait a minute, my polyester shorts with my tank top. You souping on that.
I just could just see him, especially Eddie here sitting in front of me, smashing the pickleball. Like, oh.
You know,
yeah.
You know, I got hair halfway down my back,
Right.
too, so
You know he'd be flinging it.
You know, I got a beer belly. I got that tight tank top on. You know.
Wait, what's the soundtrack?
38 special.
In
the Navy.
Hey, oh Lord, what I was actually calling about, y'all got the visual on that too, did you?
Oh, 100%, baby.
You know, my math, I consider me decent in math. Maybe y'all better than I am, but you know, 25% of those guns turned in this weekend was only handguns. Handguns. The rest was old, you know, rifles that probably didn't even shoot and all that kind of good stuff. Now, so they took in 110 or whatever it was along there, and they used $8,000. If I'd have known they was getting $550 and $600 of them old raggedy rifles, I'd have took a buttload of them.
Wait, do BB guns count?
I don't know, but yeah.
Wow,
if you look
I didn't realize they were paying that much either.
Well, if you spent $8,000 on 110 guns, do the math.
Well, and they were paying out the most for handguns.
Okay.
But, yeah, you still could get, $50, $100 pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than that. There ain't no way they 8,000 and 100 guns and they were amount for 25% handguns. They had to be given a lot more than $50 or $100 for the rifles and old shotguns. They probably didn't even
You're right.
shoot.
I just assumed it was $50 to $100 per gun period. I didn't realize it was a opportunity there.
You ain't sat there and done the math, did you, Eddie?
I have now. When they doing another buyback?
They're going to do one soon, apparently.
All right, let's
I
keep
can't wait for
that in mind.
Hey, me and you, you got a truck, don't you?
You know I do.
Well, I know. We'll take your truck and my truck. We'll load up back in that thing with some more. I'm going to start buying them $50 and $100 guns.
Right.
Wait, holy giveaway, I call it.
Well, and I'd just be like, sir, before you buy back this gun from this gentleman, he's got shingles, but he keeps calling it syphilis. So you might want to double check.
I'll make him wear gloves.
All right, enough airtime for me. He gone.
See you, Randy.
You did it, Randy. Go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Cranky. What's going on?
Hey, Cranky.
Just kind of curious. I wonder, we'll never know, but we know. We'll never know how many of those firearms that were bought back were acquired just 48 or 72 hours prior to the buyback, and that's the only reason they were acquired. Hey, they're having a gun buyback this weekend. let's go smash and grab.
You never know.
Just wonder. Like
Yeah,
I said,
I
we'll
don't know.
never know. They're not going. They'll run the serial numbers on all of them. See what's what. We'll never know.
Now, do you know, Cranky, if they run the serial numbers and say it's a gun that I had that was stolen, do I ever hear anything from that, or they just destroy it, or do you know?
Actually, they turn through Gulf.
You broke up there. Say that again.
No, they don't destroy them all. They they have go back on their Facebook page and see.
Oh, okay.
They resell. Hell, they're gonna make money off of them.
All right. Well,
Look it up. Check it out.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable. Hey, did you hear about Tim Walz pounding his fist on the podium and shaking his hand, going, "We can't stand 4 more years of this"?
You must have read my mind. Do you have my clip list right in front of you? Because I got that all queued up and ready to go. Let's have the.
Well, I am sorry about that, but you do know that my job title for 8 years when I worked for the Defense Department was electronic surveillance specialist. But that's just a coincidence.
Oh no! Well, don't pay no mind. I've stopped those habits. Like this is what Cranky's talking about, folks.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
I just wish you'd been wearing a red hat that said "Make America Great Again," just like our president.
Yeah.
I think J.D. Vance's going to eat that guy's lunch.
I
on
believe
stage.
so.
Are they going to have a debate?
October the 1st, apparently.
October Fool's Day for Tim Walz. Well, guys, thanks for picking me up, and you guys have a great day.
You
All right,
too,
Cranky.
Cranky.
See you, bro.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this? Hello, anybody
Hello?
there? Hey.
Hello? Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Who's this?
This is Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, I thought I heard another person on there. Boy, it must have been they must have been looking for some stories to fill up the front page there on 1890. Pickleball story.
Oh,
my
yeah.
goodness.
It is the number one sport, I think, right now in the
I hope they don't have
Southeast.
anybody covering shuffleboard or anything,
No.
Well, it's also Erica Thomas. She can do hard hitting, but she tends to do some of the lighthearted stuff.
I'm just messing with them. On the shooting, let's quit calling this a mass shooting. Come on. Everybody knows what it was and who it was, okay? It wasn't a mass shooting. It was a gang bang. Okay? Let's a mass shooting, that's not the description of a mass shooting. Okay? I'm sorry. Just trying to, but that was just some gang stuff, and if you know that area up there, that's just the way it is. But it was not a mass shooting. I just, there were multiple shootings. Yes, some guys drove by in a car and unloaded on a bunch of people, but I guarantee you it was either a rival gang or some people that got disrespected or didn't ante up on their drug money or something. But the mass shooting thing that's thrown out just to so they can bring it into the banning guns thing. That's what that's all about. But you're not going to ban guns from people like that. You're not going to. The bad guys are going to get guns, and that buyback. I wonder how many of those guns didn't even have a firing pin, or how many of them were just a piece of junk they dug out of the garage that hadn't fired in years. That people just trying to get funny stuff. That was that in Montgomery?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Just keep it over there. But Joey, I got to ask you a question now. I know I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but have you fired up the firehughfreeze.com yet?
You're not hurting my feelings. I don't even know, man.
I mean, I know you're coming from because I'm a Florida Gator fan, and
you hurting
hopefully
too,
our coach is going to get fired before the end of the year because he's already gone. He doesn't realize it, but
dead man walking.
He's going to be gone.
Well,
Yeah,
I think they
yeah,
should definitely fire the receivers coach because half the interceptions this year are like right in their hands.
Either that or get some glue going here, fellas. Something.
Yeah. Definitely need a quarterback though.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of Hugh Freeze throwing the quarterbacks under the bus?
Well, I don't think Hughes is really a fan favorite right now.
I know he's not. In fact, I think Bo Wallace come out this weekend and said.
I think the only reason, one of the main reasons they hired him was because he has beaten Saban twice, which.
Well, he's the whole reason Saban retired. He wasn't going to let him beat him again. So Saban's like, I'm out. Everybody knows that. It's not an open secret.
Wait. Can Tuberville be a coach and a senator at the same time?
Where's the Alabama-Auburn game this year?
I have no idea.
It is in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
Okay. Name your score. 75-0.
I don't know, man. Y'all got these dogs this weekend. I think them dogs are a little bit hungry.
No, I'm not. I'm not an Auburn or Alabama fan. I'm a Florida Gator fan. Alabama's gonna put a whooping on Georgia, I'm afraid.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
They're eating the dogs.
Wow.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving that way.
I'm just trying to keep it light today. You know, I also saw the grab a little football there to keep everybody a little sane here.
Yeah.
And one more deal with the football. Auburn plays Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's gonna be
That's
bad.
all I'll say.
It's done.
Good luck.
We'll see. You're really cheering me up, Jim.
Well, Hugh's gone from the freeze to the oven.
We pay players now openly. How do we still suck?
I know.
This is what I don't understand.
Right. That one guy from Penn State seems pretty good, but that's
it. That's all we got for our money.
Goodness.
Yeah, well, I kind of pull for Auburn though, Joe. I got 2 kids graduated there, so.
Yeah. I would love to see us successful, but ever since, again, my senior year was the Cam Newton year.
Yeah.
So I've been just spoiled ever since then.
Well,
looking for that feeling.
There's
not going to happen.
There's a guy out there that will take the job. His name's Gene, and his last name starts with a C and ends with a K. And,
no, my brother saw firsthand that guy get the big head.
Yeah.
Yeah, after they won. The next year, he was.
Dude, you could.
Nobody could talk to him.
You or me could have got him to a championship. They were set.
Right.
Yep. Well, y'all have a good week here.
You too,
Appreciate it, Jim.
See you, bro.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't again. I went to last year's Iron Bowl, and
that's
we had
right.
good seats. Went with my uncle, the Monsignor. You know the box seat, not like box seats, like where the president's going to sit this upcoming weekend,
Yeah.
but like the club seats where you got free food and stuff in the back and
Good
a great
stuff.
view. And it was an amazing game, even though Auburn lost. It was a fun game to be at and to watch.
Great game to watch.
These games, whether even Auburn winning against New Mexico, every game this year, other than maybe that first one, has been miserable to watch.
Painful to watch.
It's just bad football.
The first play, or one of the first 5 minutes, Auburn was playing great Saturday. We had a great clean hit. Next play, our guy, he's just out of the game.
Yeah, and they won't even show the replay. It's too gruesome.
That's like, what happened? Did he get involved in a bench brawl? I mean, suddenly our guy's just gone?
We're pulling a Joe Theismann rule here.
Pretty much. Jeez.
Man, I kind of miss the days where it's like you could see Tyrone Prothro over and over again.
That was a tough one, man. That was a tough one.
Yeah, it was.
Whew.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Cranky. You can either put me on, or I got to talk to Eddie, or put me back on hold and talk to Eddie. I didn't know you were going to be talking about football. You asked about what the coach did, throwing the quarterbacks under the bus.
Yeah.
I may ruffle some feathers over there in the studio, but I was never, ever a Hugh Freeze fan. When I heard his name even came up, I went, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's going to be the end of Auburn.
That's what a lot of people thought. But we're family.
Yeah.
No, and I wasn't stumping for Hugh Freeze.
I don't think none of us in the studio were, but we went with the whole Auburn. We're family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the Board of Trustees, I don't blame Freeze because he's a piece of crap. But
He's taking the money.
He was a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Morally, they knew. I guarantee you he's not finished with the young girl. Guarantee you he's not. I don't know if you ever saw the photo of the day they were holding the press conference where, they're making the big announcement. Before the microphones were turned on and the cameras were rolling, even though the cameras don't roll anymore, if you look up on that stage, every one of them up there, it looked like his family had been taken hostage by terrorists, and they were just waiting for the word that the captors received the briefcase full of money. It was the most painful. I mean, it was unbelievably ridiculous the way they looked up there. But he's got no character. He's got no class whatsoever. And it isn't about win. But they got a guy that's not a leader at all. He does not know how to lead. That pissed me off more than anything else. Bear Bryant never, ever, it was my fault. Coach always said it was my fault. Because ultimately it is the coach's fault. This guy recruited a lot of these people. This guy mentored a lot of these people. This guy's the one that put them in the game. This guy's the one that was calling the plays, and he threw them under the bus. I hope all of them up there that's got any talent at all puts their name in the portal and gets the hell out of there and throw him under the bus. That I love Auburn. I've loved Auburn all my life, and I still love Auburn. But the Board of Trustees and the people behind all of this, you can't tell me that they get it, just like Democrats, they get it wrong every time on hiring a coach. I don't know what the incentive is, but I know good and damn well they didn't have any intent of hiring any winning coaches. But I will tell you this, we lead every conference in the United States, and one thing, we're number one. We have got the highest ex-coach payroll of any other team.
No doubt about that.
True.
But even that, I think it was a great idea.
Appreciate you calling back. Thanks,
Craig.
This part of the program brought to you by All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical. And they're at All Pro. They can help you whether you just need a checkup on that HVAC system, especially because we're about to hit that time of the year where you're running both the AC and the heater.
Putting it to the max use, man.
And so if you've heard any rumblings, any at all, anything that may go, what's that sound? You need to get a checkup.
Definitely.
Because you do not want this thing to crap out on you. You do not want that HVAC to stop working. Even if you're like, well, I can grin and bear it. No, don't even. Don't even. And of course, if you need a new unit, because it could be you're 10, 15, 20 years in.
That's right. That's approaching end of life.
But the beautiful thing is they have financing available with approved credit there at All Pro. And they could also help you install on the electrical side of things a Generac generator.
Yeah.
Which not only keeps the power on when the storms roll through, it's a great investment to up the value of your home.
Certainly will.
Men tend to love a Generac generator.
Yep.
I already was proud of my dad, but when I saw he had installed one when I went to visit him on the coast, I'm like, man, what a man.
Well, women this time of year pay attention to them because, like I think Rich Thomas said, we got a storm coming up again this weekend.
Indeed, we do. So y'all check out All Pro Heating, Air, and Electrical today. You can always go to allproheatingair.com or give them a call at 301-1961. That's 301-1961. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellows on the radio, sent you. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Man, y'all mentioned Auburn. I couldn't help myself, Joey.
Your heart broke too, ain't you, Duke?
How you doing?
I'm all right personally, but it was not fun to watch.
I know it, man, and I just got to pile on behind the last caller, boy. I just got to pile on now. Why is it now that you can buy any player you want to nowadays, pretty much? Why can't Auburn go out and buy a top-rated quarterback?
I think a lot of it has to do with just like why we don't get the greatest coaches.
Culture.
Yeah. And they don't want to give up control. It took Alabama how long before they got Nick Saban? Because they finally said, okay, we want a coach that we're not going to micromanage. They had to get out of the way. I don't think Auburn's got that yet.
I know they're paying all these former coaches and everything. I don't know if they got a few crumbs left over to buy one of these, stud quarterbacks. But, man, it's embarrassing, man. I'm talking about. He put the bag up here, he threw him one or two, and the other guy got jealous. He went out and threw him one or two. And,
yeah, you're right.
It's sickening, man. It's sickening.
Well, at the end of that, the end of the first half was just crazy. The amount of picks back and forth. It was honestly,
like a backyard football game.
I would not have pulled Hank Brown because it just seemed like everybody was out of control.
Yeah.
Let the young kid go through it.
Well, not only that, maybe stop passing. Let's get it back to running. Yeah, let him build a little bit of confidence.
You got two good running backs back there.
Now, let's not take this stage too far because we got those little Bama's listening. Bama's listening to us.
They got their own trouble, man.
What do you think about Trump going to the game this Saturday in Tuscaloosa?
I heard, man. I ain't going to talk about it too much. You might have somebody listening in on me this week. I got to behave this week just a little bit, because you know what I'm talking about.
Well, who do you think he's going to pull for, Alabama or Georgia? I mean, Alabama's kind of guaranteed Trump country.
He pulled for Bama. He won't pull for a winner, you know.
I don't know. I think he might say, Georgia, you give me the vote.
He pulled for a winner thing because Georgia ain't got it no more. Georgia washed up now. They did
wrong.
like for 1 or 2 years. But Bama ain't no bear either now. Let's not get that misunderstood, people. But they better than Georgia right now.
Okay, we'll see. I don't think so, but we'll see.
We shall see.
Huh?
I don't think so. I think you're wrong, Duke, but we'll see.
Okay, I hadn't watched either one. I watched Georgia. I missed Alabama play. I hadn't watched Georgia play yet, but what I've heard, Vanderbilt, who almost beat Vanderbilt or somebody, right?
They've had a struggle or two, but yeah, they got their stuff together. The good team always finds a way to win. That's why we haven't.
At least DL can win a game with a Hail Mary.
Yeah, what'd you think of that?
We don't have anybody to throw a Hail Mary. How about that?
Right. Unless it's a 6-yarder.
Later.
Go deep.
Yeah.
6 yards deep. That's
seriously, it was miserable to watch. It's not even good football.
Yep.
And like we're not even, it's Arkansas.
But we can pay our players. It's legal now.
How do you think? I'm looking at the schedule for Auburn right now.
Oh, we're done.
Oklahoma, Georgia, Missouri or whatever.
Missouri.
Kentucky. Well, Vanderbilt, ULM, A&M, Texas A&M, and then Bama for the Iron Bowl.
I think we might have 2 wins out of that. That's it.
If that, man.
Yeah.
Well, we got ULM. Let's count 1 at least.
Is that our homecoming?
Yeah, I think so.
Have we paid them enough for them not to beat us?
This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. Maybe that's what Auburn needs, a little testosterone boost.
Sure wouldn't hurt them.
And at Montgomery Men's Health, they can help you fellas out if you're, feeling like you're losing your edge in life.
Mm-hmm.
This happens naturally to men as they get into their 40s, 50s, and 60s. But even guys in their 20s are now experiencing the symptoms of low testosterone. And what are those symptoms? Well, no motivation, first off, lack of energy and drive, including a massive decrease in your sex drive.
Mm-hmm.
You're also seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, and it's not like you're eating more, working out less. It's just not working like it used to. You just feel like you're walking through your life in a fog. Knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup, plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low-T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism. You usually even notice an increased libido, and you can actually book the same day that you call.
Nice.
Join the rest of the gentlemen that have, learned the secret there at Montgomery Men's Health to feeling good again, having that edge back. Just call them at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Hey folks, Bruce Holding with CTE Outdoor Power, and I have some fun announcements. First, CTE is the new home for both Cub Cadet and DeWalt. We've got Cub Cadet homeowner walk mowers and lawn tractors, and Cub Cadet homeowner and commercial grade zero turns, and provide parts and service on all Cub Cadet mowers regardless of where purchased. Also, come check out DeWalt battery-powered hand tools, from grass trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws to drills, impact wrenches, circular saws, and the list goes on. We offer 0% interest financing and on-the-spot, no credit check financing. Now, here's the really fun part. In September, when you purchase either a Hustler or Cub Cadet riding mower, CTE will either pay your sales tax or you'll receive the same value as the tax in free DeWalt products of your choice. CTE Outdoor Power, I-85 at Perry Hill Road and CTEOutdoorPower.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
You probably already know that we're going to be watching the Gulf of Mexico very carefully this week. There will be a potentially landfalling system on the northern Gulf Coast somewhere by the end of the week. But for today, it's still sunny and hot. I've got us in the mid-90s for a high, partly cloudy, 72 tonight. Tomorrow, still dry, lots of sun, high 93 for Tuesday. Risk of scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms returning to the forecast by Wednesday with a high near 90. And after Wednesday, everything depends on developments in the Gulf of Mexico. We're watching carefully. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Wet Bobo with Capital Tractor. Soon we'll be moving to a brand new location in Montgomery. During our big moving sale, get a great deal on a Kubota with 0% APR up to 84 months with approved credit. Now through September 30th, 2024. See Capital Tractor in Montgomery or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
You probably know lots of people you trust to mow your lawn or wash your car. But when it comes to electrical work, you're picky. And you should be. See, electricity is complicated and potentially dangerous. The sad truth is, each year there are thousands of home fires caused by faulty wiring. Crosby Electric has been serving the river region for almost 50 years. Their technicians are held to the highest standards of the profession. To wear the Crosby Electric uniform, you have to undergo background checks, rigorous drug testing, continuous education, and safety training. The technicians at Crosby are specialists. They don't do plumbing. They don't fix air conditioners. They simply provide superior electric service in a safe and timely manner. Don't take chances. When you need electrical work, or if you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us online at crosbyelectric.com.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey, that's Eddie.
Hey, Joey.
And so Trump did an interview with somebody over the weekend, and he was asked a few questions. One is that he ruled out running again.
I heard that question.
I'm like,
why do we do that?
It's not like he's a spring chicken.
Right. Why do we do that? Ask the most dumb, obvious question.
Oh, wait, this is like the full interview. Full Measure with Cheryl Atkinson, Season 10.
Never heard of him.
You never heard of Cheryl Atkinson?
I know a lot of Cheryls.
And I'm not just talking about South America. I'm talking about
Prisons are being emptied all over the world. They're dumping them into the United States. Criminals are being taken off the street in cities and places all over the world. They're being dumped into the United States. Mental institutions are being emptied out into the United States. They are a threat to democracy. What they're doing to our country, they're poisoning our country. They're poisoning it. And you can take a look in Ohio, what's happening. You can take a look at Aurora in Colorado and see what's happening. But those are two that have been in the news. You have hundreds of little towns and cities that are being taken over by migrants, or at least being horribly affected by migrants. We have 21 million, at least 21 million. They have a lower number. They say 16 million, whether it's 16 or 21, but I think it's much more than 21. And they've come into our country, and they're tough, and they're nasty, and we're going to have to do something about it, and fast, or we're not going to have a country left. And they're the ones that are the threat to democracy.
If elected, you will arguably be the most targeted president in American history, whether we're talking about foreign threats or domestic threats. Does it change how you can govern? If the Secret Service, or some people say they can't guard you effectively at a static golf course, how can they guard you on an overseas trip?
Well, I think we just have to do what you have to do. You know, the only ones.
Man, he does not want to talk about it. Just the mannerisms, the look on his face, the sounds he just made.
Yep.
You don't want to answer that question. He's like, "You trying to get me killed?" Right. So I really just wanted one clip. Essentially, she asked him, Trump rules out running in 2028 if defeated in November, which is like, yeah, he's going to be in his 80s.
Yeah.
Like, of course he's not going to run again at 82 years old.
Couldn't anyway. What are we even talking about?
Yeah. No, I think this is the last hurrah for Trump himself. Now, the whole populist thing he's inspired, I don't think that's going away anytime.
Agreed.
Well, you should have chose Nikki Haley. It's like, no, God,
So
no.
glad we didn't.
If you want somebody like that, go with Vivek Ramaswamy.
Much sooner.
That
would ever take.
would be much. J.D. Vance also doing a great thing.
I think so.
But here's one question about this is what Elon wants to do. She asked him, what is Elon Musk want to do in your administration?
In looking at a possible second term, I think people are curious what specific positions you've discussed giving to Bobby Kennedy, Elon Musk, and Tulsi Gabbard.
Well, Elon is Elon. I mean, Elon is, he's endorsed me very powerfully. He feels this is the most important election we've ever had. And as you know, he probably has a couple of other things to do. But
He's indicated he might be willing to help with like government waste type issues.
what he will do is, and the thing that we talk about more than anything else is exactly that, it's costs. He's a big cost cutter. He's always been very good at it. And I'm good at it. But Elon, I'll tell you what, he will go in and he'll say, this is what you have to do. You have to do this. He is so into that. He feels there's so much waste and fat in this country. And he's right. He's 100% right. And he's been just great.
I mean, that is, I think, correct. There is a lot of waste and fat.
Oh, no doubt. In every aspect.
It's time to cut the fat. It really is. And I would love for Elon or whoever to do what Elon did to X, to Twitter.
How many, do you know the
But I don't know if
percentage of
that's
people
happening.
that he laid off? Or he got rid of at Twitter that were unnecessary? Wasn't it like 67%?
Oh, yeah, it was a ridiculous amount. People are like, it's not going to be able to run. And then you're adding all these new functions. And like,
Running
there
like
were
a dream, baby.
There were a couple of hiccups.
But
But
older
it's-
guy like me hadn't noticed nothing.
Yeah.
Runs like a dream.
Now, Trump also asked about the whole deportation operation.
Oh.
And he says essentially one bad bus photo op can ruin the entire operation. Let's listen in.
On immigration, which you've mentioned, most people seem to think that you can tighten up the border. And for the untold millions who are here illegally that you referred to, you've talked about a mass deportation program. How is that practically possible? Because a lot of the millions of people have had children here who are American citizens. And don't you think the first time there is an image on television of a family tearfully being told to board a bus, that whole program would end?
That's right. If you take a young woman with two beautiful children and you put her on a bus and it ends up on the front page of every newspaper, it makes it a lot harder. So we're going to look at it very closely. Are you the way you phrase it is exactly right. You put one wrong person onto a bus or onto an airplane, and your radical left lunatics will try and make it sound like the worst thing that's ever happened. But we're getting the criminals out, and we're going to do that fast.
On immigration.
And there are a lot of folks like that who fit the criminal label.
I think that would be spending most of the time getting rid of them long before you'd ever look at a mother with 2 children.
Right.
And we've got enough of them to keep us busy for a while.
Well, and this is directly from the New York Times. Voters across the Sun Belt say that Donald J. Trump improved their lives when he was president and worry that a Kamala Harris White House would not, setting the stage for an extraordinarily competitive contest in 3 states. This is according to the latest polls from the New York Times and Siena College. The polls found that Mr. Trump has gained a lead in Arizona and remains ahead in Georgia, 2 states that he lost in 2020. But in North Carolina, which has not voted for a Democrat since 2008, Harris trails Mr. Trump by just a narrow margin. The polls of these 3 states, taken from September 17th to the 21st, presented further evidence that in a sharply divided nation, the presidential contest is shaping up to be one of the tightest in history. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock. Oh, did you see the Washington Post came out with a warning to voters to expect delays on election night?
Already putting that out there, are they?
Why?
You know why.
Why should we expect that?
So when you don't get the answer you want, they can tell you, we told you months ago we're not ready for this. Even though we've been doing it forever, we're no longer ready for it.
Corrupt bastards.
Yes, 100%.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, guys. I'm surprised I'm on. First of all, I want to say I love the show. And then the second thing I want to say is thanks for playing Trump. Of course, I've seen it already, but and this is not a critique. I'm just throwing out a suggestion. I'm like, I've seen a lot of kilometer getting asked questions, and you can show the question and the answer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that might be worth some of your time, but I know y'all have limited time. You just, I love your show, and I'm sorry I went there, but I'm trying to raise it up to, hey, time on the show. Trump is great. Let's look at how stupid. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all going back.
All right. That's enough apologies
Thanks,
for one call. Goodness gracious. Yes, we'll play Kamala Harris. We did so in particular on Friday a good bit. Again, 334-272-9228. And I find it just as it's platitudes and word salad. It's scripted stuff for the new face of this machine that is, not giving great results for the people of this nation.
But it hasn't stopped her. There's no shame in the game. Even a CNN reporter came out and said she's not answering just some simple questions.
Right.
You don't hit anything. Just they keep going. Then I think over the weekend I heard one of her representatives said she won't be doing as many press conferences as she would normally do because she's busy as the vice president.
Do you want to hear from one Democrat, though?
Sure. Bring it to me.
Well, you know that guy from Pennsylvania. What's his name? Looks like Lurch. Oh, John Fetterman? He was asked about fracking, because that's a big deal in Pennsylvania.
It's a big fracking deal.
And this is his answer. I kind of love it.
Questions for Senator Lindsey Graham, there's no doubt about that. But to the point, what do you now like about fracking? You say you're not going to ban it. You support it now.
They're eating dogs. They're eating cats. All right. Again, so, okay. Yes. And any more on fracking? I think.
Well, I want to ask you about the Middle East, actually. Let's move on.
Well, what do you say? In her defense, what do you say?
Because he's made the point earlier where if they're talking about that, I don't have to answer any policy questions. I'm like, I love this guy.
There you go.
That's amazing. I kind of like anybody who breaks the stupid improv that they do, the game you're supposed to play. We ask the questions, you be serious with us.
My question is, what happened to his handler? Remember that wife he had?
Yeah, freaky.
Something's happened there, Joey.
Yeah, crazy.
She was going to put him away, and she was going to take the seat. And
I think the Frankenstein monster got out of the lair.
I think so, Joey.
Oh, What shall we throw in now? It's my favorite scene in Young Frankenstein, the little girl with the well. That deadpan look he gives.
Well,
let's hit a break. But first, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you. You know, Eddie's worked with them many a time.
Yep.
Getting deals closed for his clients.
It's one of the best in the business, man.
Their turnaround time is remarkable.
And not only that, the appreciation they have for their clients is amazing.
Yep.
They'll call you back on weekends. They'll call you back on holidays. I work with lenders all the time, especially these 800 lenders. You're not getting a phone call when you need it. Let's be honest.
Right.
So I love them to death. They do an excellent job. And when people ask me when they're looking for a lender, you know the number I give them. I give their number every time.
567-4223.
That's the one.
Whether you're looking to buy a home or if you're looking to refinance, and especially if you're a veteran, what their average turnaround on a VA refi is something like 16 days.
Yep. And that's
truly
amazing.
remarkable. So again, that number, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. MLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Epicure and Jack's Tavern, a family-owned and operated treasure, invites you to break the chains and eat local. With decades of tradition, they bring you meals prepared with locally sourced ingredients. Because here, you're not just a customer, you're part of the family.
Experience the best house-aged and hand-cut steaks in the area at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Each steak is a masterpiece, aged and cut in-house to ensure the highest quality. Join them for a steak that will elevate your dining experience.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
I'm doing quite well. So, what's the score?
The score, 21 to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We had a guy come in last week. Anyway, he's been, I've known him forever, probably since I was 18. Which is like forever. And he bought a TV. And I said, do you want to have Michael Jacks do it, or are you going to do it? And he says, oh, no, I can do it. It's easy.
Mm.
Well, after about 18 phone calls with Michael Jacks, we finally just sent him over there. And he got him hooked up. He was done probably in about 8 minutes. Had everything set up for him. You know, and what I try to tell people is you can plug in your HDMI cable to the television and you can get a picture, you know, depending on whose cable box you're using or whatever. But when Michael Jacks is there, he just makes everything so much easier to operate, so much easier to use, where it's more of an enjoyment as opposed to being a job to watch Netflix or Hulu or whoever you're streaming.
Well, and especially if you're spending top dollar on, say, like the latest TV, you don't want to mess it up yourself. And it is relaxing. I've seen the man in person myself in action, Mr. Jackson. Man, they get the job done quickly. They get it done well. So you know that, you know, this is going to be set up and I'm not going to have any issue.
Well, that's right. And then if he sets it up, you know, if you do have a hiccup 3 months down the line and you call him, he knows how it is set up because it's set up the way he sets them up all the time.
There you go.
And he's got a better idea of how to tell you which button to press so that you can do whatever you're trying to do.
Well, I love hearing that folks are stopping by there to Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. And, of course, folks, it's not just the great new TVs and sound systems and all the entertainment options, including, I'm looking at those captain's chairs, Michael. the appliance side of the store is also amazing. So y'all check them out today. You can always shop from home at thinkcohens.com, but there's nothing like actually stopping by in person at 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to say, hey, we heard Michael on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Fantastic. Y'all come see us.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
So pretty much out of time for this hour. Coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because, honestly, I'm trying to stay away from what I was talking about Friday, the darkness.
The darkness.
Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But it is real.
Oh, yeah.
It seems to be, it's always there. The dark side's always there. But it seems to be rising up more and more.
I agree with you.
And it's in big ways and small ways. Like what you experienced last week.
Yeah.
But also, some of the headlines you see. In particular, when I look at what's going on with war around the world, Ukraine and what's happening in the Holy Land as well. Man, it feels like, especially if you know a little history, we're playing with fire.
We are.
Literal fire.
We are, man. There's not a doubt in my mind.
We shall see. Trying to just hold back the darkness.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Hurricane watches have been issued for parts of Cuba and Mexico as a cluster of storms located south of the Cayman Islands expected to strengthen into a major hurricane while it would then move north towards the U.S. One hurricane forecaster says a Category 3 or stronger hurricane will threaten parts of North Florida or its sweeping Big Bend before the work week is done. A Soyuz capsule carrying 2 Russians and 1 American from the ISS has landed in Kazakhstan, ending a record-breaking stay for the Russian pair. The 2 returned after 374 days aboard the space station, the longest continuous stay there. On Wall Street, stocks have been wavering but are now higher. The Dow up 69 points, the Nasdaq adding 26. This is SRN News.
We've been witnessing troubling signs that we're on the cusp of a major economic bust. High inflation, growing national debt, and global uncertainties are all flashing warning signals. Are you prepared for what's coming next? I'm Lance Wallnow, a Christian news analyst. And the Bible tells us that the wise man sees danger coming and takes precautions. By diversifying into gold with my trusted friends at Birch Gold Group, you can protect your God-given assets through both stable and turbulent times. Gold has been a trusted store of value for thousands of years, weathering economic storms that have wiped out other forms of wealth. Here's the best part. With the help of Birch Gold, you can convert your 401k or IRA to a gold IRA, tax-free and penalty-free. To learn more, text the word FAITH to 989898 for a free info kit on gold. Take the next step to secure your financial future before these warning signs turn into a full-blown crisis. Text FAITH to the number 989898 now for your free gold IRA info kit. Birch Gold Group is the only company I trust. There's no obligation, so text FAITH to 989898, and I pray this information helps you achieve prosperity and peace of mind.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
You probably already know that we're going to be watching the Gulf of Mexico very carefully this week. There will be a potentially landfalling system on the northern Gulf Coast somewhere by the end of the week. But for today, still sunny and hot. I've got us in the mid-90s for a high, partly cloudy, 72 tonight. Tomorrow, still dry, lots of sun, high 93 for Tuesday. Risk of scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms returning to the forecast by Wednesday with a high near 90. And after Wednesday, everything depends on developments in the Gulf of Mexico. We're watching carefully. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you for voting ASC Credit Union, the best credit union in the River Region 6 years in a row. As we celebrate our 70th anniversary, we are proud to be at the top of the list for the best credit union in the hearts of the communities we serve.
1819 News.
Crime Stoppers of Metro Alabama is now offering a $50,000 reward for more information on the Birmingham shooting that occurred this past weekend, where 4 people were killed and 17 others injured.
I'm Frank Bearfield, chairman of Crime Stoppers of Metro Alabama,
And previous to today, the largest reward we had ever offered was $25,000. And we were very glad to pay that reward out. Today, we'll be offering $50,000 for any information that helps us solve this crime. They don't have to be convicted. They don't have to go to court. You don't have to do anything. You remain totally anonymous. And if you give us information that leads to identifying the persons responsible for this or the solving of this crime, you're going to get paid a great reward. It's a life-changing reward, and you're totally anonymous. $50,000.
I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you. To have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
A high school in Limestone County was placed on a soft lockdown this Monday morning in order to conduct a drug search. Limestone County authorities say that the soft lockdown occurred at Ardmore High School. An officer-involved fatal shooting is now under investigation. The shooting occurred in Muscle Shoals on Sunday night on Tuxedo Avenue. The identity of the man shot by an officer has not been released. The Alabama Law Enforcement Agency is handling this case. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Don't miss the Capco Warehouse sale for one day only, this Friday, 8 till 5. Visit our sale location on the Wetumpka Highway for incredible savings on home decor, floral arrangements, seasonal items, including Christmas trees, wreaths, ornaments, and much, much more. After you shop the warehouse sale, be sure to drop by the Capco Outlet store for even more savings. Huge savings at 2 locations for one day only. Capco Outlet and the Capco Outlet Warehouse sale this Friday, September 27th, 8 till 5.
I occasionally have nerve discomfort in my hands, so the things I love to do
Let's play something, Grandma.
became difficult as I got older.
If you have occasional stabbing and burning in your hands and feet, try Nervive Nerve Relief. Nervive's clinically studied dose of alpha-lipoic acid reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days with continued daily use. Say yes to healthy nerves with Nervive Nerve Relief. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Joey Clark.
Welcome to the final hour of the program here on another Monday. Now, top headline now at 1819news.com by Erica Thomas. 1,000 Haitians coming to Mobile, Baldwin counties in coming weeks, whistleblower says. U.S. Representative Carl is skeptical of that. But between 800 and 1,200 Haitian migrants are coming to Baldwin or Mobile counties within the next 2 or 3 weeks, according to immigration whistleblower Jay Palmer. However, some officials say they have not received confirmation. Palmer, who consults with Haitian pastors weekly in North Alabama, told 1819 News that an NGO, non-government organization, alerted the pastors to prepare for the influx. Palmer told 1819 News that the migrants are part of the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan program, a program that has been plagued with criminal allegations and fraud. The Biden-Harris administration first created a process to permit Ukrainian nationals to live in the United States for a 2-year parole period in 2022. Later that year, the program was made available to Venezuelans. Then it was expanded to all the other nations included. Wow. So it begins with Ukraine.
That's all you have to do, though. You just have to allow, okay, you think you're being a decent human, okay, we'll allow this. Then your politicians take that and say, you know what? No, you're going to allow this.
The Department of Homeland Security is allowed to process up to 30,000 migrants a month through the program.
Good Lord.
There was a lawsuit filed against the program by 21 states, including Alabama, but it was dismissed in 2023 because the states could not prove financial harm was suffered due to the program. Judge Drew Tipton of the Southern District of Texas stated the program did reduce overall border crossings.
Yes. You know as well as I do that data is flawed at best. And when they get caught for lying, they'll say, "Oh, it was a glitch, it was a mistake, it was our bad." Just got to make an example at some point.
Now, our guest tomorrow, about this time tomorrow, will be Congressman Gary Palmer. Different Palmer than the one we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But Gary Palmer has launched his own investigation into the Democrat donor process, reporting to being done by Caleb Taylor there at 1819news.com. U.S. Representative Gary Palmer and other members of the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability launched an investigation last week into potential fraud and illicit financial activity linked to Act Blue campaign contributions. Well, here, we've been, of course, reporting on this.
Yep.
It seems, at least from the reporting that's out there, plain as day that there's something fishy going on.
No doubt it is. But once you have that many here, and okay, the jig is up, well, they just canceled the program. You and me, we're still screwed.
Act Blue is also being investigated by several states officials for contributions allegedly made through the platform fraudulently without the reported contributors' awareness. And so that's how this worked, or it seemed to work, that you had folks who essentially had donated to Act Blue before, $50 here, $100 here.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, people go to their door and go, "Did you donate $100,000 over the last year?" And they're like, "No, I donated a little bit, but not that much money." Well, it says right here at financial records that this is what you did it. I didn't do that.
I can imagine you looked at their front door and realized these are not people that actually gave this $100,000.
Yep, obviously.
Yeah.
But Gary Palmer is going to get into it.
Glad he's going to, man.
I like seeing that.
Me too. He's got somebody looking.
And we'll be, again, talking to Congressman Palmer tomorrow at about this
2
time. 2 o'clock tomorrow. Just looking if there's any updates on that shooting in Mobile. I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Now, one story that caught my eye just from the headline, another story put together by Caleb Taylor, 11th Circuit overturns lower court, upholds Alabama's driver's license policy for transgenders. So judges on the 11th Circuit of the United States Court of Appeals overturned a 2021 ruling by Middle District of Alabama U.S. District Judge Myron Thompson that declared Alabama's transgender driver's license policy unconstitutional. Thompson ruled in 2021 that Policy Order 63, Alabama's driver license policy for transgenders, violated the Equal Protection Clause. By making the content of people's driver's licenses depend on the nature of their genitalia, the policy classifies by sex under Equal Protection Clause doctrine and is subject to an intermediate form of heightened scrutiny, Thompson wrote in his 2021 opinion. The 11th Circuit reversed that decision on Friday. We welcome the 11th Circuit's decision. The Constitution does not forbid a state from relying on biological sex rather than novel gender theories when issuing driver's licenses. That comes from William Califf, a spokesman for Attorney General Steve Marshall. The 11th Circuit judges noted Policy Order 63 permits an individual wishing to have the sex change on their Alabama driver's license due to gender reassignment surgery to change their sex by submitting certain documentation.
That might be something from a doctor that says we made the cut.
What a brave new world we're in, Eddie.
What a waste of everyone's time.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of stuff
What percentage of people are we talking about here? I mean, I don't even know how many people in the United States are, isn't it? But how many percentage of people are we tiptoeing around, cowtailing, constantly making our life adjustments so they can play their game. Why are we doing this? I mean, in my personal life, it doesn't happen in my personal life, so why are my politicians forcing me to do this?
Well, because they can. You know what I mean?
I don't like hearing that, Joy.
Yeah, well, back when you had a boss.
Mm-hmm. I still got one. More now than ever, but yeah.
I mean an actual boss?
Yeah.
Not like the one you're married to.
The ultimate boss.
Good. Well done. What did she say about your syphilis? I mean, your shingles.
She was the one that tried to convince me all week long that's probably what it was. And,
that was shingles.
Yeah. And I just it's probably poison ivy.
Boss was right.
Yes. And then she took a picture of it and it looks like a little bit of a fish tattoo.
And my grandfather used to have in his garage at the old house, rule number 1, the boss is always right.
Yes.
Rule number 2, if the boss is wrong, see rule number 1.
Exactly right.
But have you ever had a boss where you're like, they're just using their power over me?
Good Lord, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you, like, that's actual, like, private industry where you can quit or you can go find something else. You can't fire these people in government. You can't fire the government.
That's what's so frustrating. Okay.
But
vote,
they can
right?
lose an election. No,
not anymore.
If the majority in my district says they want this guy, why do I have to put up with this guy? Why does it work this way?
If the majority of my district is on the take, for this guy, then, and so your option is to move, right?
Right.
So people have come to Alabama. Well, guess what? All this BS politics has followed them people to Alabama.
Right. And I love how, like, objective the rule of law is, except all these judges have different opinions. They just seem to pull out of their backside.
Yes. That's another thing. Where are these coming from?
Right. I just don't have, well, shocker, I don't have a lot of trust in the system. It, like, fundamentally, a lot of trust in the system.
All right. I agree with you on that. I don't either. And I think more and more Americans are agreeing with you, and they're falling out of favor. But what do you do?
It's a good question.
That's what the frustrating. There's no alternative.
You elect people that are wrecking balls.
I
That's
agree.
What you do.
But the wrecking balls ain't even running.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they are, they're so far out there.
You need them, though. That's
what I agree.
Like, what about your detailed plan? It's like my detailed plan is to blow up this system.
Yeah.
And to let somebody build something new on top of it. Like, we'll need institutions. We'll need good rules. But the way this is currently working, you need, like what Elon Musk has done with his companies, like Twitter. 60, 70% of y'all get out.
Right. Well, we've let the ignorant and the inept in charge of our institutions. So it's time to clean them out. That wrecking ball is needed.
Very much needed.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're still stuck with the same crap they always throw at us.
Yeah. It's the mouse and the elephant. You know how they always say the elephant is scared to death of a mouse?
Mm-hmm.
We are the elephants, folks. Why are we scared of the mice? Just squash them.
Right. Now, as I was saying, you weren't here but for the very end last week. And I know that was a hectic day for you on Friday.
Yeah.
But I was really feeling, the darkness.
Oh?
And so we got talking about, Debbie had a great call. Craig and I were talking about, different ways you can respond to it. And I was able to flesh it out over the weekend.
Okay.
And, of course, my head's still stuck in the book of Job. Yet when I hoped for good, evil came. When I looked for light, then came darkness. Job 30:26. Maybe it's just me, but last Friday's news cycle seemed particularly harrowing and foreboding. I kept looking for light to celebrate the end of another working week, yet all I found was a slowly rising darkness in the headlines. A Kentucky sheriff kills a judge, his decade-long friend, just after having lunch together. A young woman with 1 million followers on TikTok soft pedals pedophilia as just another sexual orientation. Israel conducts more strikes in Beirut, Lebanon, as fears of wider war grow. This is but a small sample of last Friday's news. And by the way, more strikes are coming. Netanyahu just said, we ain't stopping.
Oh, yeah, getting the videos.
Yet last Friday was hardly unique. Anyone with a keen eye can see the immense treachery, hatred, violence, and absurdity of the average human being on display on any given day. Indeed, it's enough to make any man grope for a worthy response to this tragic state of affairs. Love your God, your family, and your friends while ignoring those of the world and their follies may be the most accessible and worthwhile response. Love God, your family, and your friends. But for those caught up in the times, for those who cannot look away from the shadow, Here are 3 possible responses. Ways of living with an inner light amidst the rising darkness. Number 1, live in the joke, the cynic's detached hope. In 2007, George Carlin gave a response to the world's absurdities, particularly America's. Carlin arguably remains the forefather of the ongoing stand-up comedy boom. The more creeping darkness in their everyday lives, the more the average man and woman seem to seek out laughter as a shield. Here's what Carlin had to say all the way back in 2007. You know what? I say it this way. When you're born in this world, you're given a ticket to the freak show. And when you're born in America, you're given a front row seat. And some of us get to sit there with notebooks, and I watch the freak show, and I cut my notes, and I make up stuff about it, and I talk about the freaks. And the freaks are all humans. They're like me, and they're all the same. We're all the same. I'm not better. I'm not different. I'm just a part now. I'm separate. I'm over here because I put myself out of the mix. I don't have a stake in the outcome. I'm not a cheerleader for a given outcome now. Oh, they say if you scratch a cynic, you'll find a disappointed idealist. And I would admit that somewhere underneath all of this, there's a little flicker of a flame of idealism that would love to see it all change. But it can't happen that way. Number 2, live in the question, the religion of curiosity. In July of this year, Elon Musk sat down for an interview with Jordan Peterson, wherein the rocketeering richest man on earth revealed the meaning of life disguised as a joke. Here's the quote. Quote, when I was about 11 or 12 years old, Elon said, I had somewhat of an existential crisis because there just didn't seem to be any meaning in the world, like no meaning to life. And so I actually read probably all the religious texts. And then I started getting into the philosophy books. And none of them really seemed to have, to me, answers that resonated, at least to me. But then I read Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is really a book on philosophy disguised as humor. The point that Adams tries to make there is that we don't actually know all the answers, obviously. In fact, we don't even know what the right questions are to ask. That was the fundamental turning point. I was a lot happier after that because now it's like, okay, well, I just got to accept that we are ignorant of a great many things and we wish to be less ignorant, and anything we can do that will improve our understanding of the universe and makes us less ignorant, and even what questions to ask about the answer that is the universe, which I think is Adam's central point, is good. Is it a sort of a religion? Elon went on to say. I don't know. Maybe it is. But I think it's a good one. I call it the religion of curiosity. Number 3, live in the faith, the harsh wisdom of surviving where there is no why. Hanging over the gate at Auschwitz was a sick, twisted joke, humor mangled to evil ends. The phrase, Arbeit macht frei, or work sets you free. Curiosity, too, would be maimed in that place. Recall Primo Levi, a survivor and prisoner of Auschwitz, who recounted his experiences in his book, If This Is a Man. In one of his accounts, Levi breaks off an icicle to soothe his thirst. A guard then takes the icicle from his hand. When Levi asks why, the guard replies, there is no why here. Despite the disfigurement, humor and curiosity did help many prisoners find an inner light in the camps. Yet sometimes not even those devices would suffice. Sometimes only an ineffable belief in the face of all evidence to the contrary was all that was left. As Robert McAfee Brown writes in his introduction to Elie Wiesel's play The Trial of God, quote, by the time he was 15, Elie Wiesel was in Auschwitz, a Nazi death camp. A teacher of Talmud befriended him by insisting that whenever they were together, they would study Talmud. Talmud without pens or pencils. Talmud without paper. Talmud without books. It would be their act of religious defiance. One night, the teacher took Wiesel back to his own barracks. And there, with the young boy as the only witness, 3 great Jewish scholars, masters of the Talmud, Halakha, and Jewish jurisprudence, put God on trial, creating in that eerie place a rabbinic court of law to indict the Almighty. The trial lasted several nights. Witnesses were heard. Evidence was gathered. Conclusions were drawn, all of which issued finally in a unanimous verdict. The Lord God Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, was found guilty of crimes against creation and humankind. And then, after what Wiesel describes as an infinity of silence, the Talmudic scholar looked at the sky and said, "It's time for evening prayers." A lot of darkness in the world. But if people can endure in the darkest of dark places with an inner light, so can you. Don't give in to it. We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your market report. So far this year, over 3,300 homes have sold and closed in the River region with an average price of $260,000. Over 60% of these homes sold in 60 days or less and sold for 98% of list price. So, two forces are at work right now. First, we have more inventory of homes now than we've had in 4 years. Second, we also have the lowest interest rates in 15 months for VA, FHA, and conventional loans, and this helps sellers and buyers. In addition, sellers are more willing to negotiate favorable terms for buyers than I've seen in over 4 years. So the objection from potential sellers, where would we go if we sold our house? Well, now you have more homes to view than we've had in a long, long time. Why wait? For more information or a written report, call Bo Goodson at 221-2883 or the Goodson Group at 551-0225.
Everyone confesses sooner or later. Tuesday, Fox presents a new mystery series. I found the body. In this small town,
Are your murders?
unsolved. Every week brings a new case for Carl Alberg. I can always tell when somebody's lying to me. Based on the acclaimed book series. I just thought there might be something you'd like to tell me. Well, you thought wrong, Sonny. It's the premiere of Murder in a Small Town.
Tuesday on Fox 20.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
You probably already know that we're going to be watching the Gulf of Mexico very carefully this week. There will be a potentially landfalling system on the northern Gulf Coast somewhere by the end of the week. But for today, it's still sunny and hot. I've got us in the mid-90s for a high, partly cloudy, 72 tonight. Tomorrow, still dry, lots of sun, high 93 for Tuesday. Risk of scattered showers, maybe some thunderstorms returning to the forecast by Wednesday with a high near 90. And after Wednesday, everything depends on developments in the Gulf of Mexico. We're watching carefully. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Hi, this is Jeff Mallinson with Georgia Floors Direct, and I want to talk to you about Blue Water Broadcast and how they've helped my business spread the word. As every small business owner, I have to look at my advertising dollars carefully, and Blue Water Broadcast helps me get the most for every dollar I spend. I'm so glad to be a part of Blue Water Broadcasting and what they bring to Montgomery.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Two 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Again, that's 334-272-9228. We have Michael on the line. Hey, Michael, what's up?
Hey, you might know me from days gone by as I used to call myself Wookie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I just go by Michael B. It makes it simple. Would you mind if I read one verse of scripture?
No.
Okay. It's in Daniel chapter 2, and it says, verse 21, He, talking about God, changes the times and seasons. He deposes kings, and he raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. I have always taken that verse to mean that God is ultimately the bottom line as to who is in office. That doesn't negate our right and our freedom to vote as we should. But I think, God has the ability to sometimes give us what we need instead of what we want. And that's just the bottom line as far as I'm concerned and my faith is concerned. And I believe that he may give us another chance and put solid leadership back in for another 4 years. I hope and pray he does. But if he doesn't, it's for a reason.
Yes, sir. God is God, and you might not like what you're seeing right in front of you, but who are you to pretend that you know everything in his mind?
That's the way I see it. And I thank you for allowing me to throw that out there.
Well, I appreciate it, Michael. Thank you,
No problem. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, and the play, The Trial of God by Wiesel it's good if you want to read a play. It's intense, though. Very intense. And essentially, if you want to accuse God in that way, you know who will defend him? The devil.
Of course.
And then leave you out in a lurch.
Yep.
And I was just telling Eddie, I watched it last night. It's rough. If you're looking for a light evening,
That ain't it, huh?
it ain't it. But it's the BBC put it together. It's based on not the play Wiesel wrote, but Wiesel's experience of the camps, and it's called God on Trial. And I'll just leave it at that. It's remarkable and intense. And it made me think of, especially, I always, when I see the book of Job, I start thinking about Jesus on the Mount of Olives saying, take this cup from me, but your will be done. So it's almost God experiencing, well, the suffering and understanding that moment of like forsaking the very day you were born, but your will be done still in the end. I didn't come up with that. I think Carl Jung came up with that. 272-9228. I didn't mean to take everybody to church.
Got some folks interested.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's the Master Thespian.
Master Thespian.
I was calling in about something you dealt with a little while earlier, but let me throw something on the table in the whole thing about God. Book of Judges. The Book of Judges. One of the reasons why the Israelites have periods in which they are under oppression, and the periods of time get longer and longer and longer, is because they have neglected God. And every time, whenever the people turn back to God, then God provided someone to save them. So maybe that's where we are right now.
Maybe indeed.
Yeah. So the reason I called is you guys were talking about the program bringing illegal aliens with work permits to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Biden administration doing this with our tax dollars?
Oh, yeah.
Because apparently they're flying them in.
Oh, yeah, flying
they're
them in.
giving them visas. And, of course, it naturally lowers the number of people coming across the border.
I don't know how. I don't know how it lowers. How's that stop the crowd that's already coming? I don't understand.
Well,
I don't buy into the. You're going and getting people that probably had no other way to get here unless you went and got them.
It's all fishy, man. It is all very, very fishy.
Yeah.
Because once they get here, supposedly they have work waiting for them. But what else is going on?
Well, what if they don't want to work? Not everybody wants to work.
What if they don't want to work?
Right.
Exactly.
But that's this government. Whenever they're caught doing something or allowing something illegal to be done, say, think of like surveillance. They go, well, we'll just legalize it.
And that's what they've done.
Yeah.
Man.
Except for the cocaine they found. They didn't legalize the cocaine that they found in the White House.
Yeah, I think we need to have some term limits in Congress. I'm at that point now where I'm like, no, you guys,
I'm all about it.
You need to have a very short time there, get your butts out of there, and get somebody else in. Okay, I'm okay now. I'm going to go have some food and enjoy myself. Y'all carry on.
See you, bud.
272-9228. Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. This is Babs.
Hey, Babs.
Hey, Babs.
Back on the biblical end of things, I believe with all my heart, and I believe you too believe it too, that God has his hand over Trump. And he has a reason for Trump, even though Trump is not the godly man everybody wants. But I believe, like I said, he's going to be president. And if he's not, I believe God has another purpose for him greater than being president. But I'm also a believer in, as the Israelites turned their back on Jesus and what they went through for 40 years, I'm hoping maybe we're in the middle of that and Trump is going to save us. But if not, because so many people in this country have turned their back on God, he may have had enough of us. So it's a prayerful thing to me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just continue to pray that God keeps his hand over Trump and gives us a win. But if not, there'll be some good about it.
Well, I appreciate
I love you guys.
Love you too, Babs. Appreciate the
Talk
call.
to you later. Thanks.
Let's go to line 5. You're on there. Who's this? Nope. Line 1. You're on there. Hey.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Joe. This is Charles.
Hey, Charles.
I don't have no great words of wisdom like some of the people that call you, but I do know this. You know, for the past 2 years, I've been going through the same thing that you went through this weekend, you know, because you wrestle with the light and the dark.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, man. If God wasn't trying to touch us and speak to us and give us wisdom, you wouldn't even know what the light and the dark is. And the fact that we know and our eyes are open and we see what's going on in the world today, that is God blessing you. And I mean, and I feel like he's doing the same for me because, you know, I think about all my young years, I was just running amok. And now for the past, I don't know, 7 to 8 years, I see it plain as the nose on my face. And every day I wake up, I'm watching and I'm paying attention, and I'll say to myself, isn't that in Revelation? Isn't that here? Isn't that there? Just like, you know, the scripture, and I forget the exact words about the truth will be viewed as lies, and lies will be viewed as the truth. I mean, that's exactly what's happening in the world right now. And I mean, and it won't be us. You know, sometimes I get to ranting and raving and wish we had all load up 2 million deep and go burn the whole system down, as I've said before. But in the end, the only person or the only entity that's going to fix everything will be God. So, and I mean, I just think that you're obviously on the right course, or you wouldn't be having that battle over darkness and light.
Well, I appreciate the call, Charles, and I think I agree. Thank you, sir.
All right.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. I had an old roommate of mine just text me, said, I had a chance to listen in to your show while working on the computer. Love the part where said, they're eating the dogs. in reference to the Alabama-Georgia game. Let's get together soon. Absolutely, man. Let's do it. Yeah. I will say that I want to watch a good football game. I don't want to watch what Auburn went through.
No, I don't think you will.
But there does come a point in life where, the living in curiosity and living in the questions and like you let your mind explore, sort of having that sort of joke that helps you, pull you out of the dark, or something like a great song, or there's all these things. But at a certain point, you hit where you go, those are amazing on their own, but they're held together by something deeper. And if you confuse them as the highest, it's going to start to taste like dust in your mouth. It's like you could, in today's day and age, this is an extended, I guess, metaphor. You can, if you have a little bit of sustenance, you know how much food is available, like tasty food that our bodies crave.
Yep.
But at a certain point, if you got nobody to share it with, and you don't know a sense of any sort of lick of sense of gratitude about that, even that tasty, palatable stuff is going to, again, start to taste like ash in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of, these things can all be really good. I think, for instance, what Elon Musk is doing is amazing.
I agree.
George Carlin's comedy in particular helped me get through after my mother passed. There are a lot of things where these things are good, but they can be turned to evil ends, to dark ends. Humor certainly can. The reason, like somebody who's just reason, they can certainly become the reason. They call it the Luciferian intellect. Like, that's a real thing. So you have to sort of strip yourself down and start to think about what's my place in all of this and things beyond me. And honestly, I'm still at a point where I don't like pat answers.
Yeah.
Like rote answers is what they taught me in school. This is what they taught me when I went to church. You've really come to a place in your life where it's not a pat answer, you have a lot of, even if you can't put into words, reasons. I not only respect that, I think it's remarkable. But I would prefer the wrestling for the time being. And it is very real. The dark side is very, very real. And as you get the eyes to see it, you start to go, like, how much have I played into this? And how much can I change? I'm very convinced that this fight over power that we have every few years is a big part of the darkness rising up. That if we think we can solve our problems by who controls whom, who's got the bigger bomb, who's got the better lie and propaganda, the better brainwashing, well, that's a dark place. There are ways to live that are much better than that. But that's the world we're in for now. We'll see, as an old friend and host of mine used to say, in the fullness of time. Again, 272-9228. How about this? As a little bit of a change up, I want to go to Peter St. Onge.
All right, let's see what Pizza Hut has to offer.
Well, he's talking about cacklenomics. That's not
I'm already interested.
It's not a nice thing to say. But the news is bankruptcies are soaring.
Yes.
So let's listen in to Peter St. Onge, Mr. PhD himself in economics, about, what's happening out there in the economic world.
Small business bankruptcies are up 61% on the year. It is a cacklenomics miracle. The data comes from bankruptcy analyst Epic, who reports that commercial filings for Chapter 11 bankruptcy soared to 4,553 so far this year. That is up 61% on last year. Meanwhile, total corporate bankruptcies are also rising, hitting the highest since the pandemic, according to S&P Global Market Intelligence. That is especially hitting hard in retail, with a parade of chains going under this year, including Red Lobster and its beloved Endless Shrimp. Never forget what they have taken from us. So what's causing it? Simple. Inflation, high interest costs, and COVID loans. Inflation, of course, drives up business costs to the point they have to hike prices. That then chases away customers. High rates, meanwhile, are well known to strangle business. In fact, that's why the Fed does them, to strangle household and business spending, enough that federal spending has inflation all to itself. And then the COVID loans. So during the pandemic, the Small Business Administration pumped out 4 million loans worth about $380 billion in so-called economic injury disaster loans. Note, these were separate from the PPP loans, where $800 billion was handed out to bribe voters into lockdowns. While many of the PPP loans were fraudulent, actually most of them according to NPR, 96% of those loans were forgiven. Incidentally, one gang member recently killed a Baltimore shootout had it turned out an outstanding PPP loan for a nanotech company. Not a joke. Thing is, the $380 billion in injury loans actually do have to be paid back, and it turns out a lot of companies can't. So 80% are still outstanding. That's $300 billion. So we're probably just seeing the tip of the injury loan bankruptcies. Alas, it is not just small business. Inflation and high rates strangle everybody. According to the American Bankruptcy Institute, total corporate bankruptcies jumped 34% on the year, while corporate bankruptcies year to date just hit the highest since 2010, when we were still crawling out of the 2008 crisis. By the way, that exceeds bankruptcies during the height of COVID. Now, as you'd expect, the worst hit were consumer discretionary, meaning restaurants, hotels, clothing, and media. In other words, stuff you don't actually need, which is pretty much how recessions work. We've already had 17 restaurant chains go under so far this year, including Red Lobster, Rubio's, Tijuana Flats, and even the World of Beer. Never forget what else they have taken from us. Finally, individual bankruptcies. These two are soaring up 15% on the year. Concerningly, they're actually rising faster for millennials in their 20s who are carrying $1.1 trillion in debt, despite being, 5 years out of school. Here, the main culprit has been high interest rates. So the average credit card is now charging over 22%, actually close to 25%. So the debt snowballs to where even minimum payments become a challenge. That then becomes a ball and chain for life. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. The good news for bankruptcies anyway is that the Fed just panic-slashed rates, with current projections putting them cutting another 2 points in the next 12 months. The bad news, of course, is why they're panic-slashing, because recession is coming like a tidal wave. So yes, interest costs will come down, but if consumers dry up or if they lose their job, they are not going to Red Lobster. A new episode of the Peter St. Ange podcast just dropped, rounding up all the week's top stories. Check it out on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you enjoy your podcasts. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Again, folks, that's Peter St. Ange, and definitely, if you want to do a deeper dive, he has the receipts. Like, he can really back it up. This part of the program brought to you by Clearwater's Property Management, and there at Clearwater's, Reed Waters and the team are ready to help you with tree removal service. So that could be full-on tree removal. Say you're seeing a tree that's probably a leaner,
right?
That it's going to go before too long.
Right.
Or it could be a massive tree's already fallen on your property and you want to get rid of it. Yep. They can do that for you. They can also do tree trimming to cut back branches overhanging a home, or say slapping up against siding. Or it could be line of sight issues, blocking a driveway, these sorts of things. And of course, they can also do stump grinding there at Clearwater's Property Management. So if you want to get rid of that ugly stump that isn't only an eyesore, it attracts all sorts of other problems, just call up Clearwater's Property Management today. That number, 430-0376. That's 430-0376. And be sure to tell them that Joey Nettie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
For 65 years, Guardian Credit Union has been your trusted financial partner. And now we're proud to extend that trust further by introducing Guardian Insurance Services. Whether protecting your home, car, or even your business, we've got the coverage that fits your needs. Our team is here to guide you every step of the way with the personalized service you know and love. Call 334-819-7555 for a free quote today. Guardian Insurance Services, building on 65 years of trust, now safeguarding your future.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
At Epicure and Jack's Tavern, every dish and sauce is freshly made in their kitchen, daily. No cans, no shortcuts, just pure, delicious food prepared with love. Experience the difference fresh ingredients make. Join them for a meal that tastes like home.
In your meal on a sweet note with their executive chef, Glenn Tarantino's homemade desserts at Epicure and Jack's Tavern. Indulge in unique creations that change daily because every meal deserves a happy ending. Sweet, savory, and everything in between. Experience the dessert delights at Epicure and Jack's Tavern.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. So we didn't really learn anything today, did we?
We learned that shingles is different from syphilis.
We did learn that thanks to you. I can't believe that happened.
The hardest part was the 8 seconds of me trying to find the word shingles in my head to explain to my mom not.
And the fact that this was with your mother.
Yes, well, it gave her a good laugh as well as a good scare. Yeah. But at least she didn't say, well, I knew it. She's like, how in the world? At least she gave me that benefit of doubt. And she's seen some of the women I've dated. So
We've learned that it's a mess in Birmingham making national, international news. And I've now put out a cash reward for anybody with information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to do that at 5 points is... it's like I said, a shooting gallery.
It sounds like it was they're making it sound like it was a hired hit. So,
like, where do you go? Flat. If you're in the middle, you're done.
Flat.
Yeah. Get down.
Starfish.
Hey, can you call Ray?
Oh, yes.
So, we'll see if anything comes of that. They're looking for multiple suspects in that awful, awful shooting over the weekend in Birmingham. And maybe, again, you need another crime suppression unit put together, a task force with state, county, and local officials. It might be the best way to go in the short term. In the long run, we were talking about this last week, you telling your experience at Jackson Hospital. Across the board, there are shortages in emergency service. From 911 operators to ambulance drivers.
And which something I don't quite understand. After we just came through this big pandemic, you would think we would have more people trained and ready to go than we actually need right now. But it's gone the opposite route. Is that because we demanded the vaccine?
I think it's part of it. I would put that as one variable.
What could be your others?
People got used to staying home.
Ah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I can get by. I get a check from the government, I can get by.
Well, that's just it. A lot of people are comfortable with, they'll struggle 20 days out of the month. They'll wait on a check that gets them 10 days worth of living.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think that's a lot of what's going on. People just got out of the habit of working. And when you look at how sick people are,
mm-hmm.
I don't mean like morally sick, though plenty of that too.
Yeah.
Just look at the amount of chronic disease. Like how many folks are ready to go, able-bodied, ready to
have the mental acuity to do a job like that. Sometimes you got to wonder, because it's not just that. Look at military recruiting levels.
I think, to me, on that,
and the dropping of standards there, like it's
right.
Look at the dropping of standards. The Peter St. Ange clip we just played, our financials.
Well, I
think if you brought somebody, say, from like the 40s or 50s, and told, they would think we're absolutely irresponsible and insane.
Yeah, they wouldn't believe it. But I think that starts, they say it starts at homes and all that. Look what we do in schools. Let's say Joey's a kid and he's in 3rd grade and he's a pain in the butt. Well, I don't want to see him again.
All right.
It's perfectly acceptable to give him a social promotion just because I don't want to deal with him anymore. And I hate it, but a lot of my friends, social promotion.
Yeah, fail up.
Yeah. and it's continued into our politics, into our, even to our leadership. When's the last time you heard of a government official got fired? We don't hear that anymore. We hear about a new job they got. They came with a promotion and a raise.
Let's go to the phones, talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
You must not be keeping up with the Prattville Library. We're not live, are we?
We are now.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay, listen. All seriousness, I got something to talk about.
All right,
It's
what you
big.
got? Yeah.
Really, really, really big. And it's supposed to start October 1st, but I'm going to start it right now for your listeners.
Okay.
Now, the product won't be here till Wednesday, but I bought a truckload of LVP floating 12 mil, 5 or 6 different colors, half off.
Oh, wow, Ray.
Half off. One of the biggest savings I've ever pulled. Then I was so excited about what I did, I got with Mohawk and told them what was going on, and they got, with the care stand rep, and we're marking down the care stand, the carpet half off.
Wow.
So we're having a big half off sale from October till November 20th. Now, this is for the product. That doesn't include the labor, okay?
Right.
I'm not going to ask my guys to do anything half off. It's just not. They work too hard. So that it's just your product will be half off, and then from there we can tell you what the actual install price will be. And then to sweeten the pot a little bit more, because I got really, really excited last week, and I'm like a squirrel on cocaine sometimes. I got with Robert F. Henry, and they're going to give away a free countertop.
Ooh, nice.
Up to 75 feet of court.
Wow.
But to win that, you got to stop by the store and give us your name, telephone number, and email so we can get hold of you if you do win this. Now, if you are a family member of Prattville Carpet, Robert F. Henry, or of y'all station, you do not qualify. Sorry, Joey, Eddie.
It's okay.
It's all good. It's
all right.
Those are the
Kinda
rules.
used
I
to
get
it.
it. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to rig it.
Right.
So this is going to be an
Non-election.
absolutely astonishing time to come in, pick out a new floor, save 50% off, and this is stuff I bought on the truckload sale, or the Care Stand Godfrey Hurst display, and have a chance to win a new countertop. There's no other reason in the world just to go anywhere else with Prattville Carpet at this point.
I agree.
So the number they still need to call is 285-8117. And thank you for doing this early, too. What a sale, folks.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I don't have the box yet. Can y'all come by in the morning and register? I got to go get a box. Put everybody's name in.
Shouldn't be a problem.
I just thought of that. Crap, I didn't buy the box. Yeah, it starts tomorrow.
Okay.
Don't come today. I'll lose your name, and then you won't have any chance of winning.
He will.
So,
That's 2201 Cobbsford Road, folks.
And I'm going to leave right now and go get a box. So in the morning, on the way to work, pull in here, take you 2 minutes, fill it out, say hello, head to work. How about that?
Sounds great.
Beautiful.
Guys, have a great day.
You too, Ray.
See you, Ray.
Again, that number for Prattville Carpet, 285-8117, and stop by to get in that drawing at 2201 Cobbsford Road. Man, half off.
It's a big savings, man, especially on carpet.
That is a huge saving.
Carpet and flooring is something you got to have in every house, and it ain't cheap.
No. And the products there are great.
Amazing
Especially
products.
being a Mohawk seller. Like, man, great company, great product.
Oh, they do good work.
Yeah, they do. They're just a great sponsor of the program.
Yeah, they are.
So we've got about a minute left. You got anything else clever to say?
We got Gary Palmer tomorrow at 2 p.m. Don't forget, guys.
Yeah, Congressman Gary Palmer.
That's right.
Look forward to talking to him.
Look forward to that.
Announced today they're doing an investigation into Act Blue for essentially election money laundering. That might not be the technical legal thing, but that's what
it is, right?
What it kind of looks like to me. And we never really got to the question that was ablaze on the internet today.
What was that?
Would you try ayahuasca?
To be very honest, at the age I am now, no. Because I just
your
for
life
many
is kind of
well. It's just I'm not looking to find enlightenment at this point. It's too late.
Right.
But in my 20s, 30s, probably early 40s, yeah, I'd have been down.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have wanted the whole trip where you go
to Peru.
Yeah, I didn't want to go in.
Well,
some
see,
strip mall
the reason this got going on the internet is somebody posted a video of one of the sessions where people are throwing up.
Yeah, I've seen the videos.
Yeah, and
nothing pleasant about it. But if I was truly down and looking for a life-changing experience, or maybe I'm seeking something, okay. But just off the blue, nah.
Yeah.
Especially after watching the videos. Nah.
Right.
Nah. Plus, I got Busch Light, man. I don't need nothing else.
Right. You're all good.
I'm all good with the Busch Light.
You're all good with the Busch Light.
Yeah.
Well, and on that down-home note, y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Budell. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Officials in Birmingham, Alabama, pleading with members of the public for information leading to arrest in a weekend mass